Hey! Hello, viewer. It is Sunday, November 27th, 2022. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all very, very well today. On this evening's stream, we are discussing the events of the past week in entertainment and on the social media. So, as I always say, folks, genuinely lots to get through. Shall we get the guests out? Of course we should. Okay, then, folks. So, first up, for your viewing pleasure, he is walking amongst, it says pheasants here, but it means peasants. He is the Dark Sith Lord. Jord.
Good evening. Walking around the pheasants would not be wouldn't be the first time I've been surrounded by birds, but maybe not the
Are you a pheasant plucker?
I am a pheasant plucker. Yes, I enjoy plucking the pheasants and the peasants as well.
Hello there. How are you?
Hello. I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, my friend. Not bad. How's your wonderful channel going?
Yeah, it's still ticking along. I'm still doing the edit on a Wakanda Forever Part 2, and it's just such a slog. I'm really looking forward to a few months of no Marvel because I've basically run out of steam for MCU stuff. But
how long is it, my friend?
I think this is about 50 minutes. Part 3 is probably about the same, so it'll be 3 in total of 50 minutes long, and then it's back to long form Rings of Power, and then
Shot for you.
Avatar: The Last Smurfbender when that comes out as well. So plenty of stuff to go on to. It's the subs are taking along. I've got around 15,000 subs I need to hit 100,000 by the end of the year, which I think is slightly ambitious, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. But you know what? Where were you in April?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think
you go,
100 subscribers around January this year. So 100,000 by January next year is technically 100,000 in a year. So that's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah, you'll get your little plaque, your silver plaque.
Oh shit, they send those, don't they? Yeah, I'll have to find something to put it.
Oh yes, put it in the toilet. So everything good. Should we get the next body out?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, next. He is a talented powerhouse of a man. It is. They're all waiting now to find out who it is. It is Problem Being.
A complete disappointment. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
Good to see everyone. Hello.
Good to see you, mate.
Very well. Why, thank you. Good to see you too. Thanks for having me back, you crazy, crazy fool.
No, we love you.
He's got to find some way of getting himself demonetized. So the more controversial people, the better.
It's going well, folks. He's blushing. Here you go. Look, we're going to chat out. Here you go. Look, straight away. In the chat, powerhouse being. Yeah, I think that's yes. Powerhouse being. You're welcome. So everything's good, Lee. Yes.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad, thank you very much. Just been sort of doing a bit of housework. That's about it, really. Nothing very exciting. I guess if you want a powerhouse, that's it. I'm empowering my house. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Should we get the next guest out?
Yeah, get your guest out for the lads.
Okay, let's just get him out. Okay, so next, he is the backbone of Sunday nights. I genuinely love this guy. It is the mighty. He brings fun to the channel. It's MattCat83.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, pal, how are you?
I am good. It's the last day. It's the last day of a holiday over here in the States, so I'm winding down.
Oh, you love holidays season, don't you?
No, holidays are so stressful for me.
Family stuff?
Yeah, it's just you got to go from like my wife's family's thing to my family's thing, and you got to bring food
And then
along,
to
and
here, oh,
yeah, and then I had to cook stuff, and I don't cook at all, so I just took a lot of packaged stuff and I put it in like a plate from home, and I made it look like I made it from home. Like I was like, look at this mac and cheese, it's from scratch, and really was just a family size Stouffer's one, but
you should have taken a leaf out of our next guest.
right on.
Should we get him out?
Do it.
Okay, so it's good to see you, by the way.
No,
Okay,
it's good to see you guys.
Next, movies are the game. Cynic is the name. It's Matthew, everybody. Hello, Matthew.
Hello. How's my microphone?
I can hear you, yes, so it's working.
Okay, good.
Hello there.
Hello there.
How was Thanksgiving, my friend? The meal looked beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that was Thanksgiving Day. And then we drove down to Atlanta, and I just got back, and I probably still smell like a bonfire. I just walked through the door. So, but I was on time.
Are you? Yes, just. Are you well, my friend? Yeah, everything good, yeah?
Oh, yeah, everything's good. How are you, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, we're not too bad. We're not too bad. Channel going well, yeah?
Yeah, gonna hit 50,000 soon.
Aww.
And I've been convinced by family and friends that tomorrow's the day to put in the notice for the day job. So I think that's happening.
Do it.
Do it now.
Yeah, do it.
I think I'm going to. Full-time YouTuber in 2 weeks.
Oh, you've got the watched views per video. I think, like Ben, you're doing well, my friend.
Yeah, I'm feeling happy about it, feeling confident, so I think I'm going to go for it.
Get in.
there.
So
Yeah.
I would say congratulations.
Thank
Shall
you.
we get the last body out?
Absolutely.
Okay, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. It is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello,
there.
everybody. How are we?
Good. Are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just curious what we're going to be talking about.
Well, shit, like we normally do.
Yeah, I guess.
We make no bones about it on this channel. We talk shit.
Okay.
Complete wank. Hello, chat. We can see you.
Hey.
So there. Okay, so you're well, Ian. Yes, everything good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Having a laugh and all that. That's what life's all about, I guess.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. Shall we get on with it? Yes. Okay, so episode 103, end of week musings, Sunday, November 27th. It's 27th, yeah, 2022. There's Arnold, which is one of the clues to one of the stories this week. So let me press some buttons. Mr. Brown Alliance, free eye test. Please like, share, subscribe. All the usual. Right.
Ugh.
I do believe
is this still ongoing.
I do believe as I stroke my pussy. This finished this week, did it not?
Thank God. Yeah, it did finish.
Do you want to go first, Matt?
Absolutely, and it finished on a snooze. Oh my goodness, this was such a nothing burger of a finale. Like I was literally like, what are they gonna do to top the last episode off? Because the last episode wasn't that great either, and nothing. They did absolutely nothing. Aunt Petunia gave a little speech through hologram, and then they had a kind of a little pew pew, which was not exciting. And then the end credit scene was they showed the Death Star, and I'm all like, "Oh, way to give a good end credit scene there." It was just it was a nothing burger, and I'm glad it's done for this season, and I get some time off from Andor.
It gets a season 2, apparently.
You've had a foul Thanksgiving, haven't you? And this didn't help, did it?
It did not help, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Who else has seen it? Lord?
Yes. Yeah, no, I did a video on the second channel about it as well.
Saw that.
I agree and disagree about the finale. I think the finale was quite flat. I think that probably suits the tone of the show. If you'd got, I would have actually preferred a slightly heavier, sort of harder going, a little bit more exciting finale. What it reached was its conceptual endpoint, which is the thing that it was most interested in. It got the formation of the rebellion, and also the idea that the formation of the rebellion is not some happy clappy Ewoks dancing lightsaber swinging moment, that it's actually born in strife. It hit the conceptual stuff pretty well. This is like, you have these two different sort of uprisings on the same planet of Ferrix. And the idea is to show why one of them is an uprising but not a rebellion, whereas this one is an uprising as well as a rebellion. Like the idea that all that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing, or for good people to sleep. This is the awakening moment. I think it hit those notes reasonably well. The problem, which has been sort of the problem all the way through, is that it's a conceptually fascinating show, and it's a very philosophically literate show. But in terms of its characters, there's not really a huge deal to be invested in. There are some really, really subtle and quite well done characterizations in it, but not so much that you actually really care about any of the people involved. So I can look at the season going back, the entire thing, and I can think, actually, this is a very, very clever show. It's a very intelligent show. It is clearly done by people who take a deep, fascinated interest, not only in the Star Wars galaxy, but also in their real world analogies for the systems that we see in the Star Wars galaxy. And I think it did all of that very well. However, I am on board with people who say that the pacing was wrong, because it was, and I'm also on board with people who say that they found the finale flat, because what is there to be invested on the character level? Not very much.
Melvin says 12 episodes of build-up with no payoff.
Yes, in the sense, but again, because most payoff comes through character more than it does through concept. So actually, the conceptual payoff is perfectly there, and they struck that note very well. But that's not what most audience members appreciate when you're talking about setup and payoff. Most people conceptualize setup and payoff as character things, and Andor doesn't have that. It was very flat from a character level. It did feel sort of like it was a reluctant acknowledgement that it did actually have to have its characters populate its themes, and it was interested in the themes, but not so much in the characters. So yeah, the finale was quite flat. I would say it was both triumphant and underwhelming at the same time.
As somebody who's not as intellectually bright as yourself, did it need more pew pew?
I think a little bit more pew pew would have helped. A little,
like me and Matt.
No, it's not thickies. I mean, because I have the same problems you guys have. It's just I perhaps see things in it that you don't. But it's not about being thick or otherwise. A little bit more action might have helped. A little bit more humor, not much humor, but a little bit of humor just to lighten the mood occasionally would have helped. Most of it is just a pacing issue, though, and the pacing issue is a bundling issue. Like, there is no reason for this to be. I think in the second video I described this as it's a serialized weekly show paced for a binge watching audience. Now, you can't binge watch Andor as it's releasing weekly. I think it's one of those shows that might hold up better on a second viewing now it's all out. But you couldn't, sort of watching it weekly, there were whole episodes, usually the middle of the 3-episode arcs, which just nothing really happened at all. They were they were necessary for the plot, but they weren't necessary enough to be worth their own episode. So if you halve the number of episodes, or even just have 4 longer episodes as opposed to 12 individual ones, it would have worked much better, because you have these individual sort of symphonic components to the narrative. You would have been able to appreciate the entire arc in one go before you move to the next one, and you wouldn't have had to sit there every third week and say, well, okay, I get that I have to watch this to make sense of what happens afterwards, but it's not interesting at all because there's not enough happening. It's like, I compare it with House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is a much fuller show, so you can be more interested in those slow episodes because there are more pieces to be moving around to set up the next main theme, whereas Andor doesn't have that.
Here you go, Ben. Isaac Long Blackhawk at Mr. Brown Lions, that's me. But how woke was it?
Not especially. I think that was the surprising, one of the nicer things about it was that, if you told people at the outset, and they did with some of the pre-interviews, you said this is, it's a Disney era Star Wars show which is going to explore the rise of fascism, and you would automatically think, oh God, here we go, another lecture on the evils of Trump's America written by Democratic activists. That's not what it was. It stuck to universal themes. It deliberately eschewed making sort of real-world factional points. I wouldn't look at that and say that wokeness was in my top 20 list of problems with this show.
You're looking forward to the next season, I assume.
Kind of, yes. I want to see what they'll do with it. These problems can be fixed. I hope they will fix them. But it is nice, whatever your problems with pacing, whatever your problems with character, I think it should be welcomed that we're having a Star Wars show that's not treating its audience like they are A, very left-wing, and B, incredibly thick. And more media like that would be better. This is a step in the right direction compared to everything that came before.
Powerhouse Being. Have you been watching this?
No. As I've stated prior, it's.
I couldn't remember if
that...
you'd been watching it.
No, really. Like, I've waxed very much on this. I'm just not down for it. It's not necessarily
not Wars,
because of the messaging or Disney or I'm just really beyond the pale at this point. It doesn't smack of Star Wars to me. I get that this is kind of a nod and a hat tip to the extended universe that was sacrificed on the altar of Disney, but it just doesn't interest me. I think all the sort of elements for a prequel were there in Rogue One anyway. I just don't want to sit through several hours of plot that really ultimately leads up to their demise.
Here you go, folks. Melvin Deeply. It wasn't terrible.
Not very optimistic.
It wasn't terrible or anything, but it was a bit pointless. Breaking Bad was slow, but when things happened, it was tense and exciting and had zero tension. What, this or Breaking Bad? I assume this. Movie. Have you been watching this?
I have not. I have to. Well, I have to for my channel, though. I watched the first 3 episodes when it first came out.
So you can binge it at some point. Yeah,
I'll binge it. I liked what I saw. I definitely understand people's desire not to watch it too. It's just the nature of things in 2022. The fatigue of MCU and Star Wars, all those things are real.
Well, Disney fatigue, mate. Really?
Yeah, Disney fatigue is a pretty good way of describing it. If it doesn't have Darth Vader or a major character in it, people probably aren't going to care.
Or pew pew. I think pew pew is very important.
There is pew pew, but I get this a lot, and I've heard this criticism a lot. Now, to say I don't want to watch it because I'm bored of Star Wars, okay, fine. To say I don't want to watch it because I don't want to support Disney, okay, that's also fine. To say I don't want to watch it because I know everything goes back to The Last Jedi, okay, that's also fine. None of that is a criticism of the show. So I get a little bit bored of hearing those arguments, and I've heard them quite a lot. They're all good reasons not to want to watch it. I'm not holding that against anyone, but there are 2 different issues at stake there. There is your political disagreement or your cultural disagreement with the direction Star Wars has been taken in by Disney, and your disagreements with Disney as a company, and there is the evaluation of the show on its own terms and its own merits. Those are 2 entirely separate things. So I hear all of those criticisms. I'm fine with them until the point when they're leveraged against the show itself, because then that's not what they're meant for. You can hate Disney as much as you want, doesn't change the fact that Andor either is or is not well written, and that's a different question.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. Like I said, I liked the first 3 episodes that I did see, so I was looking forward to finishing it. I just understand why people wouldn't want to watch it, but definitely agree. You probably shouldn't use that as an actual criticism of the show, guys.
You're going to make some cheddar from it, so not all bad.
Not all bad things.
Ian, are you up to date with this, or did you give up on it?
Well, I gave up on it. It's absolute trash. It really is. I said I don't understand what the Lord is saying, nor movie critic.
It sounds good.
I really
it sounds
don't
good.
understand.
It sounds good.
The thing is, right? The thing is that you cannot deny the fact that it's boring and dull, right? And even the movie critic and Platoon has agreed with this, that it is boring and dull, and that's where it stops for me. It was just absolute trash. I'm sorry, but look, they have not made a good Star Wars film since. I guess. Well, I guess.
I mean, you could argue.
There's the irony.
You could argue that Shakespeare is incredibly well written. That doesn't necessarily mean it's particularly very entertaining for a lot of people.
No, but the
I
thing
do
is,
like some Shakespeare, but
with Shakespeare, a lot of people, millions and millions around the world, love Shakespeare, right? But the thing is, I don't know how many people like Andor. I really don't. Look, it's got people are entitled to their opinion, but I honestly think this is trash. It really is absolute trash. Should not have been made. We know why they made it, and there's where it stops for me.
Well, go ahead.
Go on, Matt.
Well, I was just gonna say, I personally like this is I want to just agree that it is well written, but again, I don't understand how Rogue One was so well paced that it's like it kept you on the edge of your seat. Yeah. But this show, which is also Tony Gilroy, and I understand he took it over, but I just go, how did he not realize that pacing would be an issue going so slow? And I have to say, Andor is not the character that I watched during this show. It's Stellan Skarsgård's character. I can't remember what his name is. I find him to be the most fascinating character on the show, and I'm like, where is he? He's on this city planet that I don't even care about anymore. I'm all like, can you just show him the whole time? Make a show around him. Somebody I don't know where his end is. And Andor, I'm sorry, but Andor, in my opinion, is just the most boring character. I'm like, I do not care about this character at all. And again, it's slow. It's so slow that I'm all like, oh, come on.
But hold on, right, guys. Let's just get serious here, right? There's hundreds of things they could have made as a TV show, Star Wars. Yet they chose this. What is he, Spanish or something like that? What is he?
He's Mexican.
Latin. And we know why they chose to make this, because it's box ticking, whatever. They could have made a Han Solo, Lando Calrissian TV show. They could have done that and made it like a Western and had action all the way, and Starsky and Hutch buddy thing and stuff like that. Set in Star Wars. Well. They could have done that. They could have had a masculine hero, Han Solo, shooting people, whatever. With sexy women and stuff like that. They could have done all that, but they didn't. They chose to do this, a boring, slow, crappy show that nobody wanted. And there's where I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Much like this stream. Here you go, guys. Question from Fat Gandalf at Mr. Brown Lights as me. Can you ask the team if Star Wars is able to recover, and if so, how?
I would say leave it to rest, but you have to wrestle it from the control of Disney, because they really don't know what to do with it. I mean, it smacks me as strange, because if you look at the original Star Wars trilogy, you can almost well imagine that within a Disney framework. It's optimistic, it's fun, light family entertainment. You've got a story of good and evil. You've got all those wonderful elements there, and it's magical and it's science fiction, I just think it's just lousy timing culturally. But ultimately, I just think, unless they get really serious with this and understand that this cultural malaise that we're currently in dissipates, unless something happens along those lines, they've really lost grip of what Star Wars is and what it means to people. They're trying to serve it up to a whole new audience. And we've seen this with Doctor Who, we've seen it with multiple different other franchises. You try and change who the audience is, but you can't just replace the pre-built audience and expect it to be as successful. And you're writing it for people who don't like or don't understand Star Wars generally. That's what it seems to me anyway. I don't know if that's their intent or not, but it feels that way. So I would say it needs to be rested, or it needs to be wrestled away from Disney or sold on.
Sell it to Favreau.
I just think it needs to go away for a while, but they won't do it because it's money.
Here you go. Isaac Long Blackcock, no Calculon equivalent, massive fail. And then the boys are in Dark Side of the Walk, R.I.P. Calculon. Andy, R.I.P. Calculon. Franco, R.I.P. Calculon. Ironically, the best part of Disney Star Wars, probably.
There is the first. It's about sort of little things, small steps, and getting the basics right. If you're talking about you want to revive Star Wars as a thing, I think a rest might be helpful, but I don't think it's essential. But you need the absolute basics in place. You need a person bought in to write a trilogy of films,
Favreau,
and not kicked out by Kathleen Kennedy midway through the first one. That would be a start.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Favreau really. I mean, you want more pew pew and things that look Star Warsy. Okay, well, yeah, Jon Favreau is your guy, but The Mandalorian.
If it's going to the cinema, yes.
But The Mandalorian has issues in terms of its writing. It relies an awful lot on stupidity in its plot and its decision making. And that's a Favreau creation. You don't tend to get Favreau without Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni has about as much regard for canon as Kathleen Kennedy does. So then you start getting those massive deviations. He did very well with Iron Man. He's done very well with a lot of the MCU stuff. I think that era, Jon Favreau would be great. It's whether or not he has that sort of creative potential in him and whether he can be left unmolested by big studios. I don't know that he has the power to resist someone like Kathleen Kennedy coming in and interfering. But having a person in charge, anyone in charge, pretty much anyone in charge.
What about Lucas?
Bring George Lucas back. That would be you could do that. I would be interested to see what would happen if you gave Tony Gilroy a trilogy of Star Wars films. You would do away with the pacing issues of Andor. This is a guy who in Rogue One has proven that he is, he really does know and care about the galaxy. He knows and cares enough about it to do things with it that lots of people consider to be too boring because they go too deep into the world building stuff. I would much rather have somebody who has high regard for the world that he's depicting was in charge of it than someone who had no regard but who knew how to make lightsabers flash around on the screen. So give Tony Gilroy a trilogy of films. He's evidently an intelligent writer.
Tarantino Star Wars. Can you imagine?
Well, he wants to do Star Trek, but they won't let him.
I know.
I just think that they know what to do, but they're not going to do it because of their religion.
The message.
It's so obvious that's what's happening, right? And that's why I've given up on it. We knew that Kathleen Kennedy was going to leave. I remember before when all this crap was happening, it was like, oh yeah, she's going to be fired, blah, blah, blah. We knew she wasn't going to be fired, and she's stuck there now for the next 10 years.
In the revolving door, yes.
So why should I invest in Star Wars? Why should I invest in the Disney Channel when I'm getting the same shit time and time again?
I think it's the only reason Andor turned out as it did, the tone that it had, and largely free of the woke stuff, whatever other problems people might find with it. The wokeism in Andor wasn't a problem. I think largely because it was Andor and because it was not a mainstay cultural property. The moment you say, let's do a trilogy of films centered around someone people actually know and care about, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, is the moment someone like Kathleen Kennedy looks at it and says, well, this is going to be our big thing, so of course I have to look very closely at what's going on with this film. This is the one where it's important for me to get my message across, whereas something relatively irrelevant like Andor doesn't warrant the same attention from her and therefore can be very different.
Hold on. So basically, it could be that the reason why they made this so bad was for Kathleen Kennedy to turn around and say, yeah, it hasn't got the message in it, and see how badly it did. So there's no difference between what we're trying to do and what they're trying to do. That might be the reason. You never know. But anyway, sorry to interrupt
4D chess.
Lord, sorry. Yeah, it could be that. You know what I mean? Because there is absolutely no way you'd sit down and write something like this and make it as slow as this. No way. No idiot. You've got to be a complete idiot to write something as slow as this in a Star Wars saga.
A snail?
I think this was done deliberately.
I think that's to impute a level of intelligence and subtlety to these people that they really don't possess. On the question of its pacing, look, I think with this point this point was raised in the last stream that we did on this. The question of its pacing, I accept that criticism. I've actually lost what the point was. Sorry, my brain is just completely gone. What were we talking about? So it's Kathleen Kennedy pacing, writing something as bad as this. They're
deliberately doing it so bad. They were deliberately making it so bad.
So they could justify saying that, all right, we put the message in our things, and they haven't. Look how badly that's done compared to what, What's the difference,
Yeah, I genuinely think that's too subtle for them.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's just that was it. That was the point we were talking about. I think the last stream on
back in the room
on this is that there is a criticism about it. It's too slow paced. It's too dark. It's too gritty. It doesn't feature relevant characters. It doesn't have recognizable imagery and iconography, every single aspect of which you could level against more than half the entries in the old expanded universe that we all lament is gone. Andor is not a cinematic experience. Andor is never meant to be the thing which leads Star Wars as a franchise. Andor is effectively an expanded universe entry on the screen. So I hear those criticisms. I agree with some of them more than others. But if you're criticizing Andor for not being a New Hope, you've missed the point of what Andor is supposed to be doing in the first place. It's not that. Andor is an entry into a galaxy, which is a prequel.
The point of Star Wars, mate. You've missed the point of Star Wars. Star Wars is never this.
Do you agree with me that it was regrettable that Disney retconned the expanded universe?
I love this.
I probably.
Yes, I agree with that too.
I agree with that too. I guess.
Well, if you agree with that, then you can't hold the position you just held, because then you would have to write off the entirety of the expanded universe for not being what Star Wars is to your mind.
Here you go, Andy Mouse made it to fail.
Fail. Do you know what? Seriously though, Lord, I don't give a shit about this. You could win this argument all you want. I really don't care. I don't care. I really don't.
But even that's an extension of the point, right? Because you used to, at least, you care about what Star Wars was and what it amounted to, and yeah, that's fine. But part of that was the old expanded universe, which I only have sketchy familiarity with, and lots of people have no familiarity with. You don't need to have read all of the expanded universe to love and appreciate A New Hope. It's something you go to if you love A New Hope and you want to see more of the galaxy. But it's an optional entry, and that's what Andor is. And so it's wrong to criticize Andor on the level of not being A New Hope, because it's not supposed to be essential viewing. That's both its strength and its weakness.
What was the point of it, though?
But again,
you say it's not meant to be that. You say it's not meant to be that, right? But right, it's meant to be that. Every Star Wars entry is meant to be like Star Wars, the tone and everything. If you look at Empire Strikes Back, right, it had a very serious storyline, right? But yet it still kept the tone of Star Wars. It still was Star Wars. None of the entries that's come after I guess the prequel trilogy has ever been Star Wars because of the message, and this is no example.
I think what the problem is, if I can,
it's rubbish. That's the problem.
I think the problem is people have sniffed out that Disney's version of Star Wars is a facsimile, and any extended universe reference to its lore is superseding what's gone before, which is the deep lore stuff, the extended universe that fans have known for many, many years. So when Disney comes along with its version of the extended universe, however cognizant it is of the existing franchise's extended universe, fans know the difference. And I think it's also lore that is very much embedded in that culture, but it's for fans. Things that Disney is trying to do is to try and introduce it to the wider audience, the Disney Plus subscribers, who aren't necessarily fans. But I think there is a sort of tug of war here between old school fans who are still angry about the fact that the extended universe has been sort of.
What you're saying is that the new fans won't enjoy the tone of Star Wars, which is the tone that we're used to. Of course they will.
No.
Of course, I know. My nieces and my cousins, they never saw Star Wars in the cinema, but they saw it recently and they loved it. They watched all three in one go. It is
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that the Disney version of it is a facsimile. It's grafted on, if you like. It's creating a new extended universe which is superseding what's gone before, which was the original Star Wars extended universe.
Oh, no, I agree with that, but let's say just as a pure counterfactual, Disney never retconned the old expanded universe. Disney instead gave us a number of TV shows. Disney instead gave us a number of TV shows based purely on original expanded universe entries. We would be having exactly the same argument, because people would come along and say this doesn't feel like Star Wars, because Star Wars is only supposed to be the original three films in its tone, its messaging, its storytelling style, its content, everything else. You'd be having the same argument.
You don't know that.
You absolutely would.
How could you know that?
Because the reason everyone is citing,
No, you can't know that.
Calm it down,
that's
boys.
like saying that's
But
like
it
saying
is
you know the future.
It is a
Lord.
counterfactual. So
Maybe you
a
do know
certain
the
degree
future.
of
If I may, if I may,
Well, the sequels
He's the
certainly
Lord who
do
probably knows
undermine
the
the.
if I may,
Yes.
Yeah. If
while
you may
Lee was
what?
talking, I think the problem is with Star Wars is it's
It's
become
rubbish.
well, yeah, it's become corporate Star Wars.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, no, but it's more than that, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's become the message. It's so
Well,
obvious.
It
there's
has
that
become the
as
message,
well.
but the message isn't in Andor, so that's not a criticism of this show. The reason I can say with some high degree of certainty that if you had instead adapted the original expanded universe, we'd be having the same argument is because every argument that's been made about why Andor doesn't feel like Star Wars, tone, grittiness, it's grey, it's morally ambiguous, all of these things you can find in the old expanded universe. And so if you don't like that about Andor and that makes Andor not Star Wars, there's no point regretting the expulsion of the old expanded universe because you
Yes.
find the same thing in there.
Well, I don't.
Yes, but at least then,
Yes, sir.
Disney would have no one else to blame, or the fans would have no one else to blame. It would be how they would bring in that extended universe into this Disney universe and validating it. However they produced it, however they presented it, would be the issue, obviously. But at least it would be the source material that most fans would agree on.
And I don't.
Facsimile, if you understand.
And I didn't read all the expanded universe stuff, but I can tell you right now, I'd prefer the Thrawn trilogy over Andor or Shadows of the Empire over Andor, and I think that those
Splinters
are
of the
very,
Mind's Eye
very,
is good as well.
very Star Wars. So when it comes to and back to, I believe, I don't remember whose question it was. I do think that Star Wars can be saved, but it won't happen until 2024 when Kathleen Kennedy's contract is up. But they'll always have fans like myself who will watch anything Star Wars. It doesn't matter how bad it is.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
That's true as well.
It
Yeah.
was a fat Gandalf.
I just like to say that we're not arguing. This is a heavy discussion.
It's a.
I concur.
It's a robust
I
exchange
was
of
going
views.
to say it's a robust conversation.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I feel like arguments are a lot of anger, and I don't
Yeah.
feel anger.
Oh,
from
they,
this conversation.
they do that on other channels. We have robust discussions.
I find this kind of stuff fascinating because I do
you
still
love it,
care
don't you?
about
You
Star
love it.
Wars, and in talking about where shows go wrong or don't go wrong, and people's disagreements over what shows should be and what they should stand for. These are the kind of conversations that you have to have before you get to the stage of saying, well, how do you fix, mend, revive Star Wars? All of these things have to be had out because only by having these answers out and to establishing what people actually think, what they value about the product, what they value about the film, can you have a roadmap to how you might theoretically improve the franchise as a whole going forward? So these are all fascinating conversations.
Maybe
Yeah,
it
that's-
should just
that's
been
not
called.
hard, though, is it?
Maybe
It's a
they
mass
should-
debate.
It is.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm always up for a mass debate.
You know what, right?
The
It's
poster.
it's not hard, seriously, to bring back Star Wars.
Well, if you have a
just have to do
masturbate,
the
it's
right
hard.
thing, don't you? You have to just do the right thing and make the right characters. and
Perhaps
bring the right characters in. But they're not doing that.
Where they went
Sorry.
wrong is if you look at the poster, just remove the Star Wars and call it Andor.
He's just, you know what, right?
Or is that too
Seriously?
simplistic?
Seriously, right? I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinions, but for me,
But
this,
you're right,
this
yes.
shows. No, I'm not right. It's just my opinion. This show sucks. There's no doubt in my mind that this show sucks big time. So,
Okay, right.
The measure of agreement would be if you're saying is Andor the thing to revive Star Wars. I would agree that it's not.
It's
No.
not.
So I would agree with
We just
that.
need a film with pew 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 and
No, it's not that
they,
either. It's not
They
that either.
listen. They had their opportunity in 2016 or whenever it was, or 15, where they had Ford, Fisher,
It's become a joke
and
now, isn't it?
Hamill,
It has.
Yeah.
all in the same room,
I can just laugh at it now because I remember
Yeah.
when I saw
and
the
that's when
Force
Star
Awakens.
Wars was lost.
Yeah.
And that's when it was
When
lost.
I saw Force Awakens, I was confused. I came out the cinema thinking, was that okay? Do you know what I mean? I was like, was that okay?
Yeah,
maybe
I actually-
maybe the second one was going to be better. Do you know what I
It
mean? Everyone was
felt
going,
like
"It's brilliant."
Yeah,
And I'm like,
it
"What?"
felt like a Star Wars film. I think,
don't know.
as we've said many times, JJ went there to make Star Wars,
Yeah,
and
He got
sideswiped.
I was hugely underwhelmed. The Force Awakens came out of that and think that is just a New Hope, but everything's bigger.
Yes.
I understand. Like, it's a new
Still
company.
felt like
it's
Star
a
Wars.
new. I'm not sure. I don't think simply replicating older Star Wars makes it feel like Star Wars. I think it wanted to.
It was a
like
soft
the
reboot,
reason.
wasn't it?
The reason they were doing it purely as a mimic was to attempt. I understood it at the time that you want to be cautious at the beginning, so you do what's worked before, and I understood the reason for it.
It didn't need to be.
I just didn't like it because I don't want to just see the Death Star but bigger, Luke Skywalker but a woman, the Empire but called something else.
Also, right, how many people in the audience when you were watching The Force Awakens, when they were fighting in the forest, and Rey was fighting, what's his name, the ugly fella, I can't remember.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. How many of you?
Impossible.
Right. How many of you in the seat thought Luke was going to jump out and take that guy down? I guarantee you, everyone in the cinema was thinking that, was hoping that Luke was going to repair, but they didn't give us.
Certainly, any doubts we had in the first story, by the second installment, we were pretty much cemented. This was not Star Wars.
If I may, just to calm it down a little bit, Dark Side of the Walk at non-compliance. I think that's me. Can I have a shout out for my band's debut album, Spangle Wanger?
Is that what they call it?
No, you can't. Lord, would you care to read this comment?
From Sticky Belly Flapcock. I'm thinking of making exotic lingerie for Star Wars creatures. I think I've cornered a gap in the market. I've called it Tasty Tauntauns and Raunchy Rancors.
Ding dong.
Get in touch with Kathy, and I'm sure she'll model it for you.
So, can it be saved? Quick yes or no?
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes, but it won't be.
Yeah, no, I'm with the Lord there, definitely.
Well, it could be if the intent is there to do it, but clearly no one knows what they're doing.
Movie, I've been told you like films. Can this be saved?
Star Wars can be saved. I heard someone say earlier, and I agreed with them, which is why I didn't repeat it, that you need a break.
Yes.
Chat, can it be saved? And then we'll move on. Okay, so
I think Kathleen Kennedy needs a break in the neck. Basically, that's what I reckon.
Metaphorically.
So I think it's the Mandalorian, the next thing that's on the roster, isn't it?
I'm not even going to bother with that anymore. Seriously,
I think
I've had it with Star Wars.
Is that at Christmas week or is it after?
No, I think isn't that February? Isn't that?
Oh right, okay. They're not dropping it. Okay, I thought they'd have dropped it. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm very curious to see what they do, because December they won't have a Marvel show or a Star Wars show dropping, and that's usually how they keep people onto their streaming service. So I'm very curious to see what happens.
I get a holiday.
Holy shit. You do get a holiday.
Apart from Avatar the Last Smurfbender, when that comes out, I'll have to cover that.
Hold on, so what is the big film for Christmas then? Is it Avatar?
It's Avatar, yeah.
I think I'm kind of looking forward to Avatar.
I'm not going to see it at all. I have zero interest.
But is there another film up against Avatar this Christmas?
Not a big one.
I think so.
Not a big one.
It'll be one of those.
The White King or whatever it is. I don't know.
I don't know. It'll be one of those self-fulfilling things. Everyone in the industry thinks that Avatar will blow everyone else away. So no one puts any films up against Avatar. So it blows everything away. And then it will be hailed as, like the first one was, this huge moment in cinema. And then you ask people what happened in 2 years' time, and they'll say, there was blue people, something about a tree.
Cameron said he only started making those 5 years ago.
He did,
The ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the coral reef. It'll be the first movie just on a coral reef.
But this will have to be the most successful film, I think, ever, just to break even because of the technical cost involved.
Well, I read something about how what Cameron said that, but they filmed both the second and the third movie at the same time.
Yeah, he's done three.
So he's not exactly 100% correct.
Yeah, three are ready to go practically. Anyway, okay, so we'll move on from Andor. It'll be a lot quieter next week on the stream.
Thank God. Oh, this is great.
Okay, who's watching this?
Me.
I'm out. I haven't watched it.
Me. I watched it.
For the folks at home, Ian, what's it about?
It's basically about I can't remember his name. The Sylvester Stallone's character took the fall for this mafia kind of group,
Spoilers, by
and
the
he
way.
spent jail. He was in jail for about 20 years, and he comes out hoping that they'll be thankful, but they're not really, because things have changed. And so what they do is they send him off to that place to basically generate money for himself. So he goes out there and he takes over some business and stuff, like he does. And he kicks ass. And yeah. But basically that's what it's. But it's more than that, though. Sylvester Stallone's character is having troubles, and he wants to meet his daughter again. And his daughter doesn't want to meet him and stuff. Anyway, there's only 2 episodes. Only dropping it every week, so I've only seen 2 episodes. But the 2 episodes I saw was very enjoyable. He is carrying the show. Make no mistake about it.
Stallone,
Sylvester Stallone is carrying this show, and he's. I thought Sylvester Stallone couldn't act, but in this show, oh my lord, he's great in this, and especially the last episode. I won't give anything away. The last bit in the episode was like, I just felt so sorry for him, but he's like an old-fashioned mobster who doesn't understand phones. He comes out, obviously, he doesn't understand. He was talking about the trans and all that, and one because he got high on smoking one. He was talking about the trans. He doesn't understand kids these days. So immediately when he said that stuff, I thought, right, I'm going to watch the rest of it. So it's I recommend it highly.
So it's a Mega Geek recommends, yes.
Yes, I do. I recommend it. Sorry, I'll stop there. Sorry.
Anybody else watched it? Or I think we need to start watching
I've
this.
never heard of it.
It's on.
Yeah, I had never heard of it either.
Plus. It's on Paramount Plus. It's it's just really enjoyable, and he is really enjoyable.
Shall we try and watch some of it for next week, guys?
He's 70 years old. He's 70 something, isn't he? And he still looks good, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what growth hormone can do.
Yeah,
I think I need some of that myself. Okay, so folks, I think we need to be watching this. If anything, it's Stallone. I love Stallone. He's just an icon for a generation. It's Mr. Stallone. Here you go. Cog Hammond. Cag Hammond. Hello, sir. 75. Cag. 75.
He's roughly the same age as Arnie, isn't he? But he does look much better than Arnie does.
There you go. Roids, and I need some, yes.
They both look good, actually. Arnie doesn't look too bad, and he doesn't look too bad as well. I'm quite surprised that now they're not really, this big, huge stars, which I guess they are, but they're not. Why haven't they, apart from that stupid film that they made together, why haven't they teamed up properly together in a movie or a TV show? That would be pretty amazing.
Schwarzenegger's disappeared, so we'll talk about that later.
Oh.
Okay, so I think, as I said, I think we need to start watching this. The reason why I put this on here because I'm gonna watch it this week. Panel, do your best, and we'll see how we feel about it next week. Okay, let's see what's next.
Oh, that was good.
I watched this.
This dropped.
We came on.
Yeah, this dropped this week. Who's watched it then?
I loved it.
I loved it.
Just before.
Ian, do you want to go first?
Well, the most important thing about it is it kept its heart from the first one. It reminds me so much of the first movie, and especially the ending scene where we find out. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Where we find out that well, we find out something. Kevin Bacon's quite funny in it. Everybody does a really sterling job in this. I'm not going to give anything away. All I can say is you should watch it. It is a hoot. It really is.
40. It's just an episode. 42 minutes.
42
it's on
minutes.
Disney Plus or.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it.
Lee?
Yeah, it's good fun. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the only sort of Marvel things that I watched now, I think, really. Apart from what is it, the Suicide Squad, I think. Those are the things I'd turn out for. It was a bit of fluff, some good comedy moments in this.
Thank God for Gunn.
I like the dig at actors, which was quite,
Yeah.
quite self-aware.
Actor's a piece of shit.
So yeah, it was good fun. Kevin Bacon was great in this. The songs were a bit cringe, but other than that, it's all a bit of fluff, really.
As I said, the best thing about it is it keeps, because like in the first one, do you remember that scene where he's talking to Rocket? Rocket was gonna shoot what's his name, the big guy, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? You know, that's the reason why you haven't got any friends." You know, he says to them, you know, that kind of thing. And then when he said that, you kind of felt for them all, don't you? Because they're all kind of losers, really. And this is a chance for them to actually make like become a family and stuff. And that's what Star-Lord was trying to explain to them. Yeah,
the fight scene with the police was hilarious as well.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. It's a really good.
They're nicking the stuff out of his garden.
Yeah.
Like she gives the gift of the giant candy cane to the police in the upside down police car. Is this a man?
And also, it's very the bit where they get the presents at the end. It's very it's very heartwarming. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's like the first time they've ever experienced Christmas and the first time they've ever got presents and stuff like that. I'm saying that's all I'm saying. It's like the first one.
I will say, Matty, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was fun. It was very Christmas. I thought it was very Christmas. I loved that about it. I thought the song sucked. I couldn't stand either one of those stupid songs. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Writing a Christmas song is impossible, but I think they did a reasonable job. Just saying.
Yeah, the actress Palm something who plays Halloween Mantis, she was my favorite part of this movie. I really liked her a lot. So Flula Borg is in this, and then Kevin Bacon, and I really hope that they have those
Flula Borg.
Yeah, he's
Is he from Wuhan?
No, he's from Germany, I believe. He's super funny. I follow him on Instagram. He's hilarious, but I hope that they're both in the MCU at some point in time, besides the small roles that they had. He played the bartender in this movie, but I hope they come back, but just not as themselves or whatnot. And then last thing is the gift giving, a small spoiler, but I don't know. Okay. So Rocket gets the gift of Winter Soldier's arm. I have I have very huge questions of how he got that. Like, I'm all like, where does this take place and what happened there? But
his wanking arm, I don't know.
All I know is it was fun though. I really did enjoy this.
The way I saw it was just a joke. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is kind of outside of the real Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's like when Doctor Who did was it David Tennant met the other Doctor, isn't it?
It's like
the Children in Need thing, isn't it?
It's like a self-contained snow globe.
Yeah, I just thought it was a lot of fun, personally.
Movie, you're gonna watch this?
I am gonna watch this. I'm kind of looking forward to it. You know what's funny is Guardians of the Galaxy is one property I never really cared for, and this actually might be one of the two good things that Phase 4 produces. So,
I'd agree. I'd agree with that. I think this is the best Disney stuff.
Have you seen the first one, movie Cynic? The first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
You didn't like that one?
I thought it was overrated.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I really didn't particularly see like what the big deal was.
Borderline.
Did you see it when it was first released?
Oh yeah, I was one of those. Right. I mean, I've been a comic book fan and superhero fan my whole life, so I was like, day one going to see Guardians. But definitely thought it was overrated. Everyone I know loves it, thinks it's one of the best MCU movies ever made. I've always stood by. I just don't get the hype. I thought it was fine, but I will watch this.
Okay.
Here you go. Time Prophet asks, why is it a holiday special and not Christmas? I'm assuming that certain religions do not celebrate Christmas. So that's your answer.
And also, it's American, isn't it? So
yes.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Lord,
and of course, you had the obligatory gay bar representation.
Oh, I know. That was the... yes, I thought that. Lord, have you watched this? Are you going to?
I haven't, and I'm really looking forward to a few months of no more Marvel. But
you should watch it.
Yeah, I might stick it on while I'm editing for Wakanda
Get it
Forever.
watched,
but
I'm kind of, you'll enjoy
I'm
it.
with Movie Cynic. Like Guardians, I think I enjoyed it. but it just never really stood out to me as it's not one of my sort of top line entries in the MCU. It was just one of those that it exists and it was reasonably funny, but I have no massive attachment to it, and I hate dancing, so anything that ends with a dance off is immediately stupid.
I just thought, I think everybody was just happy to be there doing it.
Yeah.
And it came over. And it's been a long time since we've had that, and slightly disappointed that Kevin Bacon didn't start advertising 3 or EE.
Yeah, I might stick it on after the stream.
Mate, you'll enjoy it. Trust me.
I just like I like the first one because it had a lot of heart. Do you know what I mean? And also, I warmed immediately to Star-Lord. Obviously, when he lost his mum in the beginning, and then you see him as an adult. You know, this person. Yeah, I just warmed to him immediately when he started dancing and he put on the the Walkman and stuff like that. I just thought, wow, this is a great start to a movie, and the movie didn't stop there.
Yeah,
it was really entertaining all the way through.
I've remembered it more fondly, I think, since I watched Love and Thunder, because they are both ostensibly comedic films.
For you.
But having watched Love and Thunder, I went back. I've not rewatched Guardians since, but I was obviously doing bits of research for the script and everything. I just thought, actually, hang on, Guardians is also a comedy-ish type film, just as Love and Thunder is, but it also has a story to tell, and it's the comedy augmented story, whereas in Love and Thunder it was very much just occasional story augmenting comedy. And so I look more fondly on Guardians now, but not necessarily because I think it's any better than I did at the time, just because everything else around it has gone so much worse.
Catty, would you care
just
to...
a big just a quick thing as well, just a quick shout out for Karen Gillan's awkward dancing.
It was great.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Catty, would you care to read the comment from Dark Side of the Walk?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the sequel to Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, Nightingales, and Nipple Clamps with the CGI Angela Lansbury.
Disney would do it as well.
Yeah, the PPC outfit, of course.
I'd watch that.
Okay, so for the peeps who have watched it, it was from the right place. It was fun. Probably the best thing that Disney Marvel have done.
Also, Chris Pratt looked like he lost a lot of weight in this film.
Right on.
I don't know.
He looked like he needed a good night's sleep, but that's just me.
Yeah, and they filmed this while they were doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so I thought that was fun. I don't know.
Okay, so recommended everybody. The reason why I put this in was they held back releasing this poster until about a week and a half after it had been out for some reason.
Because no one knew who the Black Panther was going to turn out to be, right? They had to keep the mystery and the suspense that everyone bought into completely.
Yeah, I want to just say, I showed this to my daughter. Both my kids love Black Panther, my son especially, but I showed this to my daughter. She's like, that's not Black Panther. I was like, yes, it is. And she's like, Black Panther's a boy. And I was like, no, this is the new Black Panther. And she's like, I don't like it. Yeah, she's like, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, well, and then, but yeah, so I just, whatever. I don't know.
She needs a couple of burgers in her, doesn't she? She's really thin.
She needs meat, yes. In the chat, Tim, I like saying this, Hannabom, Wakanda, whatever.
I mean, you'd think with the abundance of Wakandan rhino milk that I'm reliably told that they will drink, she wouldn't have a protein deficiency, but apparently she does.
Wow.
Vegan. Ian, are you still hating this film?
I can't hate something that I haven't seen all of. I only saw half of it, and that was enough for me.
The bit you saw, you're still hating the bit you saw.
I just know. It's not that I hated it. I just thought it was an insult. That's all. And and it's obvious what they were doing. So why should I be a party to that? So that's why I walked out. It's ridiculous.
I think it's still number one in the box office, but there's been a significant drop off. Mainly
is it number one over here in England as well?
I'm not sure.
Care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't think there's anything to compete with it. To be fair,
there isn't.
There is another Disney thing out at the moment, that cartoon thing that they were advertising as having the first
Strange Worlds.
Strange
you mean
Worlds.
that
Oh,
one?
here it is.
This is another movie. Go ahead and finish Platoon. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's just the competition point again. There's nothing to compete with it, so it's preordained that it's going to be the most successful thing. The comparator will be the first Black Panther film, and I think, and compare how Wakanda Forever does over its runtime to how the first Black Panther film did. I don't think it's going to come anywhere near the amount of money that the first one got. The cultural moment is over.
1 hour.
It's simply not as people are not as invested in it anymore. It's not as good a film, and I didn't even like the first one very much. But Wakanda Forever, I'm now doing this video I'm doing at the moment. It's just the second act, so there's the part 3 to come. It is just the first act is boring nonsense. The second act is boring nonsense, and the third act is boring nonsense.
On the ocean.
And then it's on the ocean, boring nonsense on the ocean, and then it's bookended with a funeral that it does feel quite heartfelt, and it's the only part of the film that does. But the rest of the film itself is just tedious, and so it will do well because it's got no competitors, and it will also do well because people will remember it for the moving, heartfelt tribute to a much loved dead actor. But actually, if you ask people again, like with the Avatar thing, ask them in 2 years what was the plot of Wakanda Forever, and I bet you most people wouldn't be able to give you more than a vague summary of what happened.
I think people will remember Avatar more than Wakanda.
What's this film about?
Another Jules Verne ripoff.
Yeah, as the Lord mentioned, this was out this week, and $200 million, and it's made nothing, and it's going to be a massive flop.
Yeah, did I read somewhere that it had made, it's either 25 or 45?
It's about
back
20.
or something.
It's just stupid, just nothing.
Yeah,
And
my
they-
kids.
So happy.
You go ahead.
Oh, no, this is one of those ones that they plugged in terms of promotion for it being, it's Disney's first out gay teenage protagonist.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, my kids. I showed them the trailer for. They're not interested in this at all.
There you go. Even Time Prophet knows. Look.
Yeah, I don't even like. I don't like the whole gay thing. I really don't care. But my kids, they really just don't. They're not interested in this movie, like at all.
You know, today, right? I was with my little niece, and we went to the Disney store, and there was this big statue of Buzz Lightyear, and I said, "Look, it's Buzz Lightyear," and she went, "No, it's not." Because it was obvious it was the new Buzz Lightyear,
Right.
and she didn't recognize him. It was like that. She doesn't look like Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
So as I'm saying, that it's too soon for them to introduce all this
My
crap,
kids,
isn't it?
Yeah, my kids are the same way. My son loves Buzz Lightyear, but that new Buzz Lightyear, like, not even kind of interested. Like,
Yeah.
it's. I think I don't know what they're trying to. Maybe I don't know what kids they're trying to like entice in this.
They're
but,
indoctrinating them.
You know, my kids, like, I'll show them the trailer, and if they're interested, I'll be like, all right, let's go to the movie theater. But they are like literally have no interest in this movie, like, whatsoever.
So hold on, guys. So these kids are all gay?
No,
Sorry, I'm confused.
I think the main character
Jake
is.
Gyllenhaal character is.
Yeah, the
Okay.
main one.
But it does say
Teenage guy.
something. You know how when there's a film that's been announced, and by the time the film comes out, you have a vague idea of what it is and what it's about. You know, the basics of it, not necessarily plot and story, but you know what the film's kind of about in terms of, you know, is it superheroes? Is it sci-fi? Is it anything else? I know nothing about this film except that the main
don't know
character
nothing
is
about Star
the
Wars,
first. Yeah, well, fuck you. I know nothing. I know nothing about this film except that the main character is Disney's first out gay teenage character. It's like, I know that's not how you sell a film. How are people supposed to judge whether it's the kind of thing they're going to be interested in if that's all the information they've got?
I find it really odd when you say "fuck you" in your accent. It's just.
I know.
it's just
I
the oddest thing
know.
ever.
My work is done when he says that. Movie. I assume you're going to go watch this. I assume this is right up your street.
I didn't even
Right
know
up
this
your alley.
existed until like 2 days
Oh,
ago.
so that's a yes then.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, around here, there's like they sell these. My theater chain sells like $25 a month, and you can go see a movie every day.
Yeah, same here.
So
Yeah, so we do
maybe
that same here, yeah.
maybe I'll go see it because if this is my
No, you'll never get the time back, mate. So.
that's probably true. I don't even know if it'd be worth reviewing.
I don't think it would
bet the
because like,
dog's
it's not
funny.
even memeably bad. So you know, like
Right.
some things like Morbius come out and it's worth reviewing them because everyone hates them and they've become
Yep.
kind of cultural icons because of how bad they are. I don't think this has even got that. It's not even bad enough to be worth the attention of bored internet people.
I think if you did a quick, just a quick 10-minute jobby, you might get a few pieces.
That's
of
a full
cheddar.
video for me. That's not.
Well, okay. What about a short? Do a YouTube short. They're pushing them at the moment.
It's a second channel video for me. I might do one.
Well, some of us have only got one channel. Tim Hannibom Lassiter got cancelled because hugging.
Who's Lassiter?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he used to run Pixar.
The Pixar guy,
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he got
John Lasseter.
cancelled.
Have you heard of him?
Hugging somebody.
No, I've never heard of him.
Well, he would hug people apparently for too long. I'm putting up quotations, and they felt uncomfortable. But he went over and did that Luck movie. I don't know if you guys saw it. He did it for Apple Plus, I believe. That was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. So did my kids. They really liked it.
Yeah, Lasseter, Steve Jobs, all those guys were all there with Apple and Pixar. So,
I knew about Steve Jobs, and I think George Lucas had some sort of technical input as well. But otherwise, no, I didn't know Lassiter.
Okay, so I think nobody's going to go watch this. We'll leave the last word to Tim Hannibom. John Lasseter is responsible for all of the Pixar hits.
Right.
And I just want to call it now. I bet you by this time next week, this is on Disney Plus.
It could be.
Just on the side note, I was, as I said, I was with my niece today, and we were in Selfridges, and we went to the Christmas floor. And do you know how many Black Santas I saw on the Christmas floor?
4.
About 20.
Oh, gosh.
So there you go. This is what we're up against.
It's all so dull and tedious because it will bomb, and people will say, well, the only reason it bombed is because society is institutionally racist and homophobic, and no one will support minority-led films.
That's
That's horseshit. I want to see more gay characters in film. I'm probably more on board with some of the representation in art stuff than a lot of people who watch my channel and that I hang out with, but just having people on screen is not representation. You do also need to give them characters and story and a reason to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Rebecca too. Rebecca Gold too. Season 2.
I can't wait.
It's also
the
gay representation you get is the Rainbow Reich, established agenda-filled. Well, it is.
Probably doing his best to get my monotype. What little money I get from these streams, probably is there to take it out of my pocket. Melvin Deeply, St. Nicholas,
happy community. We're all happy, smiley.
Mr. Brown Alliance putting communism into YouTube.
One nation, one rainbow, one Reich.
Melvin Deeply, St. Nicholas was from Turkey. He wasn't white.
Yeah, but we do have turkey on Christmas Day, so there you go.
Yeah, so we still honour them.
Okay.
Rebecca Gold, season 2. She's gay, so there you go.
I'm excited for season
2. We've been talking shit for 1 hour, 8 minutes. This is what everybody's been waiting for.
There we go. And he doesn't even look like that.
No, he's much prettier.
There's a man who knows nothing about Star Wars or John Lasseter.
One more for the kids at the back. Fuck and you.
You heard it first, folks. Okay, let's see what the first... no heavy subjects this week. I thought I'd keep it light. We got a little bit boisterous last week.
Give me a minute.
And you say you put up Disney. There we go.
Paycheck, Bob. This was the big. This was just when last week we said Paycheck is doing all the right things. Literally 2 hours later, he's been sacked. Mm-hmm. And Bob Igor is back in. Bob Igor being the guy who pretty much initiated, if I can say, all this messaging stuff.
Yeah. Well, the thing that gets me is, so besides the amusement parks, Bob Chapek is being,
Paycheck.
he's being touted as not being able to keep Disney going, but everything that is implemented was Bob Iger's stuff. He's just going along, all these movies, all these TV shows. He's just, putting it into motion. And I'm all like, you're blaming him for all this stuff. Now, the park stuff does seem like that's Chapek's fault because he implemented all these nickel and diming things that they've been doing, charging people for things that they shouldn't be upcharging them for. But all the TV and movie stuff, I do not blame Chapek for, because Iger set that stuff in motion and gave it the go ahead, and Chapek is just following through with it. So I don't feel like they'd give it. And that's the thing with these companies is they put somebody new in there and like, all right, you need to do better or fix whatever it is they have. And they expect it like right better. Then and they expect it right then and there. And it's an impossible task to do that.
Yeah, apparently he went to the board saying what he was going to do, and the board got spooked, sacked him, and went back to who they knew
would keep their religion.
Yes, that's a lot to do with it as well.
I mean, it's a very savvy move from Iger. Iger gets out at just the right moment in terms of avoiding all of the COVID stuff that Bob Chapek has to come in.
Yes.
Like lockdowns, the theme parks just tank, the economy goes to pot, and Iger's like, no, it's not my problem anymore. Bob Chapek comes and says, now we're moving out of it, and there's the potential for an economic recovery, and at least there's no problems with theme parks in the same way anymore. And Iger just comes back as though he's never been gone. Groundhog Day isn't a Disney film, but it might as well be. The only kind of interesting thing I wonder, sort of going back to that Star Wars discussion, is what his relationship is like with, say, Kathleen Kennedy, because I remember when Solo bombed, and Bob Iger said, look, the buck ultimately for this, it has to stop with me. But it was sort of being briefed around that he was not very happy with the people at Lucasfilm for him having to take the buck for that in the first place. So whether or not that experience with Lucasfilm tarnishes his opinion of, say, Kathleen Kennedy, and maybe he would be interested in some kind of restructure there, is entirely hypothetical and speculative. But it would be fun to see whether or not his past experience lead to any massive changes in major studios that Disney owns.
Do you think the writing is on the wall for Disney? Are they going to go bust?
What, the Apple thing?
They won't
I
go
don't
bust.
think Apple I don't think Apple will buy them out. I'd be surprised if they do. But
Apple buy
again,
them.
This goes back to the discussion we had last week about corporations becoming super big.
Is it ESG? ESG? Is it ESG?
Yeah, environmental, social, and governance.
Yeah, basically own Disney, don't they? That's the board.
It's not so much the ownership; it's priorities. So ESG is an investment strategy that you go in for. And it has an immense amount of sort of institutional capture. It's like the corporate version of wokeism is. It preaches woke values in terms of social, woke values in terms of governance and environmentalism, which it's effectively neo-communism at this point. And ESG it's the thing that's been led by Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England. It's the thing that all these supranational institutions are on board with. And it preaches that the main duty of anyone involved in finance, whether you're a trustee of a pension scheme or the fiduciary manager of a company like Disney, is not to make a return on investment for your members. It's to accomplish various different social political goals, which is not usually very good for investment. So you're not allowed to invest in fossil fuel companies, for example, even if they're incredibly profitable, as they have been recently, because that's bad for the environment. That's not good for your members. It's not good for your company. If your company is on board with ESG, I gather Disney probably is. It's a recipe for financial collapse in the long run. I don't know how much of a sway that has at Disney. It probably does have a significant financial impact on their bottom line, just because it determines what they are investing in. But it's an outgrowth of an ideology that already exists, and it's not the ideology that owns the company.
It's the same in the UK with Common Purpose and the BBC, police, army. All these institutions.
The Pink Mafia.
Charitable organisations with no accountability and do not publish their minutes. So it's all very interesting.
I don't know about you guys. When I was growing up, we thought Disney was, when they brought stuff out, it was quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
They had a lull at one point.
Yeah,
didn't they? They came
when they
back,
started going into live action, yeah.
Yeah, they came back
but
though.
we thought, quality, and I don't know where it all went wrong. Well, I do, but
quantity as well as ideological capture. I don't imagine Disney going out of existence anytime soon. It has a huge number of institutional advantages. It still has a privileged position in the state of Florida. It is culturally iconic.
Is that going to change? Was that voted to change the tax exemption?
Yes, but there's been a lot less said about that because, I don't know that it will to the same degree that we all thought it would when the announcement was made, because Disney, recognizing the threat to themselves, have sort of tried to make peace with the Florida administration of DeSantis. It's an iconic thing. It's like, iconic things do sometimes go away. You used to have the monopoly position in 2010, 12, biggest social media company with things like Bebo and MySpace. At one point, you had articles being written in the New York Times saying nobody can challenge Yahoo's domination of internet search markets. The article was written in the year that Google was founded, and less than 10 years later, Yahoo, nobody uses Yahoo. AOL had the monopoly on instant messaging. AOL then disappears. You get Microsoft coming in with MSN, all the rest of that. So iconic things can disappear. Kodak was a monopoly camera maker, and it was supplanted very quickly. I just think there was something like Disney. The brand value is so high that it will be worth somebody stepping in to bail it out for a controlling share in the company, for example, rather than letting the company go away. So I don't imagine it will disappear in the foreseeable future, and possibly not even within my lifetime. But it's in dire financial straits at the moment, and it is losing its cultural position. So stranger things have happened.
Perhaps
the other thing that can happen
TV
is
again.
It becomes just the brand, and then you buy the name. I'm talking hypothetically tens of years down the line, but it can happen. It happened to technological companies. It happened to Philips and things like that, where you literally just buy the name and then you release products under that umbrella. So
that's what Disney's been doing with all the film studios and companies it's bought up. It brought the brand of Lucasfilm, but it didn't buy Star Wars as a spirit. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll move on from this because
House of the Mouse.
Yeah, everything is just House of the Mouse, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it might not be, because the Mickey Mouse copyright is going out, and they don't seem to have managed to secure it again. So within the next few years, it won't be the House of Mouse anymore. They can still use it, but so can everybody else.
Yeah, they lost Winnie the Pooh, didn't they?
They did, yeah. So you got the weird horror film that's coming out soon. I think it is Blood and Honey, which I really want to see. Yes, I actually want to see that
film. Okay, so
this is hilarious.
Those are
it's
ugly.
Christmas is coming up.
I love how the Discovery one is $1.
If you're looking for some Christmas presents for I will say.
$1, that's already too much.
I will say the discerning Star Trek fan, it's going to be a tough choice between these. You've got Locutus of Borg for, is it $16?
Yeah.
Or Mikey Burnham for a very reasonable...
Really?
I wouldn't pay $1 for that.
No, you'd pay me $1, and
that's exactly what I said.
Platoon would Platoon would pay $1 for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll stick it next to my YouTube plaque. Normally, if you call somebody,
love that, don't you? Oh
god, yeah,
Discovery.
It made my channel unironically.
You love it, don't you?
Normally, if you call someone like $1 bint, it's an insult. But apparently, it's also a sound marketing strategy.
I will say, anybody in America, could you buy me that Mikey Burnham, please, and send it? And that we're going to give that to Benjamin for Christmas.
You just wait; it'll be worth something. Season 5 will rescue it all.
Okay.
Just around the corner.
For sure.
I will say, seriously, as a Star Trek fan,
that's not well done.
I don't even think I'd want to buy the
So
Locutus
weird.
of Borg, considering what
It
Picard
looks so weird.
Stewart
It's
did.
Yeah,
like
these
a cheap action man. I mean, really. That's
they're
just
not
awful.
done very well.
Where's the Tilly doll? The Tilly doll, where she runs faster than all those guys.
I don't think they could have fit her in the
It was
packaging.
a double,
so.
double size
Save the
packaging.
planet.
Here you go. New face. Setlick 3 Gaming. $1. That's outrageously expensive.
It is.
It is, isn't it?
It's
And
really
the head looks really big, doesn't it?
It's really badly
know.
done. It's not even
Jesus.
well done.
Well, her head is that big in real life, isn't it?
Nothing against the actress, because I think she did the best job she could be.
Yeah.
You know, with the
Oh,
shit
I'm
she
pretty
was
sure
given.
her ego is just as big as
Oh, well
that
done for your
head.
character in The Walking Dead, darling. But seriously,
Oh, but she couldn't act in The Walking Dead, and she can't act in Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, but she
I
could
would
cry
have,
really, really well.
I don't. I'm not even. Normally, I'm one of those people. I'm with you, Bran. Normally, I will try and say, look, it's not necessarily the actor's fault. They did the best that they did with what they're given. But then you read the sort of the circle jerk wank fest that is the Twitter feed of anyone involved in Star Trek Discovery, and they all buy into this this idea that what they're doing is so stunning and so brave.
Oh, curing cancer.
It just makes me want to vomit. So no, screw her.
lives.
Cynic book,
Saving
Martin Green.
lives. Yep.
Okay. Movie Cynic.
agree.
Are you a Burnham fan?
No, I don't watch Star Trek.
Okay.
Yet. I'm so lost with this right now.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so as I said, anybody in the States want to buy me that Burnham, I will gladly accept.
If I do come
Yeah, but
across
then
it, I will purchase it for you.
The postage and packaging and sending that off would be worth more.
Worth
than that.
every penny, yes. We got a new logo.
That looks like the old logo.
Yeah.
There you go.
They threw 60
Well, it's
on
got
the
the
bottom.
diamond.
Looks like a
Do we like
Yeah.
it?
It's all right.
It reminds me of the first thing I thought when I saw it was Paw Patrol. It reminds me of Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
But I'm not a
own
doctor. I've
style.
never seen Doctor Who all the way through, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but that was said a lot on Twitter by so-called fans of Doctor Who only came about when
okay.
Jodie became the Doctor. Oh,
I
so
promise-
it's copying Paw Patrol. It's Are you
I
that much of a fan? You don't realise this is from the 1970s logo.
I just want to say I did not read those Twitter accounts. I literally thought that of Paw Patrol as soon as it
No,
popped
you
up.
best not to. You best not
No,
to.
okay.
They're insane.
This looks like a bejeweled logo. This looks like Raid
Yeah,
Shadow
but it's for the
Legends.
diamond
Very bejeweled.
diamond anniversary, so it has to look like a diamond.
Did you just say movie cynic that it looks like Raid Shadow Legends?
Maybe
Are you allowed to say that in a negative context?
it's on another channel. There's
They have to pay him
you
for
can't see
mentioning
my
that.
face. I didn't say.
You can see.
I'm assuming that's my monetization gone.
At this
Wasn't
point,
my
everything
fault
is your
this time.
monetization.
Yeah,
I,
Bringing
as
us
I
on
said,
is a bad idea.
I think as we said last week, I think
60 years.
we're going to get 3 episodes of Joy
You
when it
reckon?
comes out. Yeah, I do. Genuinely, I think we're just going to get 3 episodes of Joy.
Is David Tennant now the new Doctor? I thought I
No,
saw
Three
he's
episodes.
not.
Three
He's not. He's basically went from a woman to back to David Tennant and then to a black guy. And then
Has that
he's the
happened
new
before?
Doctor.
Where they
Trans.
went back
black
to a
gay
different?
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Now that you said that. Have they ever done that before in Doctor Who? Where
No.
they went back to
No.
another Doctor?
No.
Oh, okay, so this is the first time. Okay,
They had to because Jodie was so awful, so they had to
right on.
bring back the fans.
Lord, would you care to read a super chat?
I can do.
Yeah, do
Why are
it.
you picking on the Lord? I don't want to read. I don't really.
The super chat from Cag Hammond says, "What's the status of Platoon's writing? She was a great zombie." I'm assuming "she was a great zombie" isn't referring to me, so we'll go with that as Michael Burnham. Platoon's writing, well, at some point I need to take a break from all the YouTube stuff so I can actually finish editing my book. But I have also that super secret thing that I can't really talk about very much. But that's exciting, and I might also be voice acting for it. So yeah,
Nice.
that's going.
What's your book
Nice.
about?
It's a weird, sort of slightly comedic post-apocalyptic adventure story. So it's like, what? How would I put it? It's like Treasure Island meets Douglas Adams meets Evil in War meets Mortal
I'm
Engines.
sold.
So it's like a far future, but after some war has destroyed virtually everything, and they have to go
there
to
any
a
pew-pew
place
in it?
to find a thing. There is some pew-pew in it.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point I need to
You said
finish
Douglas
editing that
Adams,
because it's.
magic word.
Yeah, Douglas. There's plenty of sort of that. He's like foremost inspiration between Douglas Adams and Evil in War is basically my entire writing style. But yeah, no. At some point I'll do that. I'm gonna try and plug that to some people. But if it doesn't get picked up, then I will find some other way of releasing it. But
sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
All those people who come in my YouTube comments and say, well, you're criticizing this, but you haven't made anything. My usual response is, okay, you give me $1 billion budget and I will make you a film that's better than Wakanda Forever.
Right.
But now I'll be able to say, well, okay, I have made something, take a look.
Even Ian could do that. Setlick 3 Gaming, I'll buy Mikey Spock, but I can think of so many things to do with it other than send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll buy myself a second one for you.
Chop her head off. That's what I say.
Okay, so as I said, I think genuinely we're gonna get 3 episodes of Joy. I don't know what's going to come after that, so
I wouldn't bank on it.
Yeah.
Though. I wouldn't
just
bank on it.
be positive for once. I think.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
quietly
think-
pessimistic.
I think the 3 episodes is too important for them to fuck up, and they know it.
We'll see. People do make mistakes, so we'll see.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
Chris Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. He's been hitting the twatter very
A
hard.
lot. Yeah, a lot. I think he's discovered it.
Yeah, and there was a Twitter post from a couple of weeks ago with him and Michael J. Fox saying there's something around the corner, and I think something big is going to be happening in the Back to the Future universe.
I hope not.
Before we get on to that, can I just suggest we retire the phrase "he's been hitting the twatter very hard"?
Thing is, though,
You'll get
I
demonetized.
really, this is one of the franchise that I really hope they just leave alone because it's
Yeah,
so
didn't you guys hear
good.
what they were going to do with Back to the Future?
Oh God, what are they going
Go
to
on.
do with Back to the
Phoebe
Future?
Waller-Bridge is going to be the new Dr. Brown. Did you guys hear that? She's going to take over.
But is he not playing Rick
She's
in
gonna
Rick
be-
and Morty?
She's going to be the DeLorean.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he playing Rick in Rick and Morty?
They did that like little commercial thing where he was, and that was pretty
great.
funny. I enjoyed that, but I don't think they're going to do that. But
right.
in all honesty, I don't know.
Okay.
Mm.
I
could
do
be-
like Chris Lloyd.
Yeah.
I think he's
Oh, he
I
was
do
great
too.
in Nobody as well.
Yeah, I just
It was
watched
so
that.
much fun.
I just watched that Wednesday show, and they had.
Is he in that?
Is that a good?
No, but they had Uncle Fester on there, and they had what's his face from SNL play him, and I was like, I prefer Christopher Lloyd over this guy.
It's your mom! Quick, cover the time machine!
I will say, give me Genesis. Ego Lord, this one's for you. Do you want to read it?
From Melvin Deeply at the Little Platoon, consider getting a proper editor to do the editing. I have. I just need to approve or disapprove the edits. So that's the rest of the editing. Also, I need to basically cut a chapter out because it's way too long. Everything I do is way too long, and everything I have is way too long as well. But
No shit.
That's what she said.
Ding dong.
Hey.
Well, yeah. The thing is, though, it doesn't matter how long your things are.
So use it, pal.
Yeah, exactly. But also, you're a success, so you don't have to apologize for anything. Do you know what I mean? So there you
Right
go.
on. And I'm interested in reading your book, so
Well, you know what they say, you
free-
can't cut your hair long. So
May
True.
I have a complimentary copy? Would you
Oh,
sign
no.
it?
free signed copies for anyone who
To
wants
me,
them once
to
it's
me,
done.
yes.
Yes, of course.
I'll pay for
thank
mine.
you,
I would
Lord.
appreciate if you signed it. I'll pay for mine though.
Praise
No,
the
no, no.
Lord. Praise
Everything
the
everything
Lord.
is
I want to be-
everything
I-
is
I
free
want
for my
to be an
friends.
extra. I want to be an extra in the movie.
Yeah, I can cast you there.
I think everybody just quick praise the Lord, and then we'll move on in
Yes,
the chat. Praise
praise.
the Lord, everybody.
Praise,
Type it. Praise the Lord. Praise
Praise
the Lord.
him, praise him.
This
Oh,
is
I saw this.
Yes, this
I
is doing the rounds again. literally
Tell me
last
who I got
couple
to
of
jerk
days.
off to make this happen. I want this to happen so bad. I will do anything.
You're setting yourself up there.
Oh my god, I love the first one so much. I just want the second one. To happen
I
so
heard.
bad.
Back
I
in
heard-
development, folks.
I heard it's going to be a crossover
too.
between this Judge Dredd and the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
I don't think so. I didn't. Well, the first one wasn't awful, but he didn't have his helmet on the whole time. I was like, put your helmet back on.
Yeah. I am the law. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
If they're doing the second one, we have to see more of Mega City than just being inside one.
Yeah. But they did that for budgetary reasons, didn't they? So yeah,
I know, but
that first one is so good though. The Carl Urban one, it's so good. I love it.
I honestly think it would have done much better had it been released in a time like now. So movies that do well tend to track some kind of social phenomenon, so it makes people more interested. And I think that comes out in 2020? Is it 2012? Was it?
It was 10 years ago. It was literally 2 weeks after the Olympics as well.
Yeah,
which didn't help.
And you're coming off the crest of Barack Obama's sort of hope and change stuff. There isn't anything massive in the culture at the time which is focused on sort of social decay, social strife, crime, underclasses, and all the rest of that. All the things that sort of make Megacity 1 what it is. And the things that were prevalent when the comics were written at the same time, you have those very same issues are presented in the real world. We didn't have that when the first Dredd film came out, which I think is one of the reasons it just didn't really latch on with anyone. But now you do have more of that in the culture. And so if you release a film like Dredd today, or maybe a Dredd 2 today, when you have all of these things at the forefront of people's minds, you might find this one does an awful lot better because it is part of this cultural moment type thing.
Unfortunate that it was basically the same plot by accident purely as The Raid, which was out a few months before.
Yeah.
A year before.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And they only released it 3D.
I think the problem with Dredd as a movie is that, it's one of the problems is that, yes, you can't see his face, but then you can't connect with the character either because he's just Judge Dredd. See, Judge Dredd was based on Dirty Harry. And the reason why you connect with Dirty Harry is because you connect with him, you see who he is, you see what he does, and it's Clint Eastwood. So he comes with the baggage being Clint Eastwood. But with Dredd, it's kind of like you're always a distance away from him.
But
I think that's one of the main problems, really.
Really?
Yeah, because in the comics it's okay because it's just a comic book. But when you talking about
Stallone
film
couldn't wait to get his helmet out.
Yeah, I know, and I agree. They should not. He should not take his helmet off. But it has to be something that will connect you with Dredd.
I think that's
why there wasn't anything really.
That's why I think they brought in. I don't remember the actress's name who plays his junior.
Olivia Thirlby.
Olivia Thirlby, that's the one. Oh, I thought did a pretty good job. I thought the character was quite good. That's a very good way of introducing a new female character in this way. But she had to be there to give the human face to a character who is otherwise inhuman.
Still young enough to do it.
I have a solution. Just give him a little green baby.
Yeah. But no, I mean that is I remember a long time ago I was thinking to myself, if I made a Judge Dredd film, how can I overcome this problem? And I still haven't come to a conclusion how can I overcome it, because as I said, Dredd is a one note character, and he's only so far you can push that one note. So I think to me that's a bit of a problem.
It's like the Darth Vader dynamic or the Terminator dynamic, in the sense that you don't necessarily want them to be the focus of your story. You want them to be ever present in your story as these kind of untouchable icons, and then the actual business of storytelling and characterization goes on around them, and he is the person that you look up to or fear, and he gives you the wow factor, the awesome factor, but he's never going to really give you the things you latch onto in terms of character portrayal. And so you need someone around him to do that for you.
I will say Time Prophet is pushing Stallone as the perfect Dredd.
But you know what? It's really funny because Judge Dredd was based on Dirty Harry and RoboCop was based on Judge Dredd. It's really funny. I love RoboCop. So weird, yeah.
Movie Cynic, are you a fan of Dredd?
I read the comics a little bit. Normally, though, like when he was
doing the movie?
I did see this movie, but I saw it like 10 years ago. Yeah. And when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of the Stallone one, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of with you, Time Prophet. But I don't know. I feel like it's a Guardians of the Galaxy situation for me. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was bad, but I also didn't really feed into the hype. I didn't get it.
There was no hype.
Well, no, I know it wasn't like a box office success, but from those people who did like it, they really fucking liked it.
Yeah, I love this movie.
But there were
It's so
fans,
good.
yeah. Fans.
I just wished Carl Urban or Urbane would get the boys out the way and just, for fuck's sake, Carl, just get this made.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I think what everybody said is right. You need someone around him to make Judge Dredd the secondary character in the story, and and again, I think that's a problem, really. But anyway,
because doing that as well also allows you to explore more of the world. If Judge Dredd is the center of your story and the thing that everyone has to focus on, you sort of lose track of what goes on around him to a degree, because he's so iconic that you can't do the kind of world building stuff that is so rich in the 2000 AD comics and the backstory of Judge Dredd. Whereas if you have someone who is newer to that world, who doesn't know everything he knows and isn't as skillful, you have much more of an opportunity to explore parts of that world that you would just overlook if you were constantly focusing on Judge Dredd himself. So always have him there, but don't make him the main character in that way.
I don't know about you guys, but also there was that scene on the stairs, and there were 3 judges there, and I got confused who was Judge Dredd and who was the other guys. I was like, which one's Judge Dredd? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, I did. I got confused because when we had that gunfight, I was like, which one's Judge Dredd?
Because they all just got blown away. That was good.
Can we have Judge Death in this one?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
They
I
keep
would love
touting
that.
that. Yeah, Judge Death. Platoon, what's it like to be so popular? Do you want to read this?
Fuck's sake. The little platoon from Tin Hannibal would make a fortune reading bedtime stories, so pleasant and reassuring. I've never been called pleasant and reassuring. Normally it's more like villainous and sinister, but hell, if I get the money, I'll do it.
You should read a bedtime story with lots of cursing in it. That'd be quite good.
Okay, so please, Dredd 2, please.
I love that helmet, though. The helmet's amazing.
Yeah, the whole design, everything about that film looked really good. They got the design right. They got the cinematography was great. I liked the real slow-mo stuff they did with the drugs as well. I thought that was very effective.
Great in 3D. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Best 3D I've ever seen.
It was a brilliant-looking film, and it did, when you, on the rare occasions you got to see it, it did capture something of what you would imagine Megacity 1 to be, but they just didn't do enough of that.
No,
I agree with that.
They didn't.
Does anybody know this director?
Blade.
No.
The only thing that I've seen is I watched that. What was that HBO show? Shoot, sorry. What was it called? I know. I'm opening my mouth.
Blanking.
Yeah, it was called. I'm trying to think. Give me 2 seconds. It'll come to me. Lovecraft Country. It was on HBO. He directed the very first episode, which actually wasn't that bad.
Right.
But other than that, I haven't seen anything else that he's done.
Well, that's the thing, you see. They're desperate to get directors to direct this nonsense because most of the clever directors won't go near crap like this. I mean, did you see who they've got to direct Beverly Hills Cop 4?
No.
Someone that's directed shorts. This
Oh,
guy's directed 3 shorts and he's directing Beverly Hills Cop 4. And you're like, what the hell? Couldn't they not get someone that knows what they're doing here?
He directed Ewoks.
Yeah, probably. That's probably why. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and this guy, he may have directed a series, but is he capable of directing something like Blade, which is a different tone of?
Doesn't matter. It depends on his pronouns. Come on.
Well, they're rewriting the script. They also got a new script writer. I think his name is Stephen Murray. Do not quote me on that. But if you look online, there's rumor. Well, they pretty much put out what the original script was about, and it sounded terrible. And I'm glad that they're starting from scratch because this movie would have been a disaster.
Seriously, though, the best thing to do is to get Wesley Snipes back because he still looks good. And there's some people can cover what he still knows martial arts. So some people can cover it and actually write a good script, and people will be all over it. But no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about you, movie cynic. Snipes is Blade for me.
I'm fine with that.
So am I.
I loved the first 2 Blade movies, so yeah, you know what? I'm with you on that.
Second one's fantastic.
Yeah.
I even like the third one. I know it's not.
No, I didn't like the third.
No, I liked lots of stuff about it. I liked
looking at Jessica Biel. That was it.
Ryan, what's his face was in it as well. Early
Reynolds.
Deadpool.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Luke Goss from Bros.
Yes, he was in it too. And the guy that was in Jailbreak played Dracula, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
Blade
Ryan
2
Reynolds.
was genuinely a fantastic film.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
Quality,
so obvious what they should do. It's so obvious what they should do. But again, it's because of their stupid religion that they're not going to do the right thing. That's why I've given up on this nonsense. Marvel, Disney.
It's
Matty
the less
Catty.
stated.
Sorry, mate.
Go on, Lord.
Oh no, I was going to say it's the less stated aspect of that religion is this safetyism aspect, the idea that things are only good to the extent they make you feel happy, comfortable, and assured of your own position. And it's why it would be very difficult to do Blade as you used to do Blade, and it's why it makes news now when you're told, well, of course Deadpool will still be R-rated. That's a shock to people because the entire movie industry culture has been captured by people who are very uncomfortable portraying anything like Blade used to portray, actually doing stuff that makes people, that goes against this safetyism thing. Everything really needs to be safe, it needs to be comfortable, relatively cheerful. It's the kind of the MCU brand humor has to be in it because, there's no pushing the boat there. Everyone knows what they're getting. No one feels shocked or uncomfortable when they watch it. I would be really concerned with Blade, not just that they get the right people in and that they get the right script written, but that they're actually allowed to put that on the screen in the first place because it's a Marvel film. And Marvel is like safetyism par excellence.
It's going to be shit.
Yeah, you can't have a black man being threatening in any way or masculine or dangerous.
It's going to be shit.
It's insulting to everyone's intelligence, frankly.
Matty Catty, would you care to read a comment from a new face, Jim D? Hello, Jim D.
Hello, Jim D. All right, it says Blade is one of the crown jewels of Marvel's film output. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the comics, but Wesley Snipes is Blade.
Thank you, sir.
He is.
Perfect.
He is.
He is. And
he's desperate for work as well.
And that's why Blade will be shit.
I do like Mahershala Ali. I have to say, I do like Mahershala Ali. I think he's very talented.
It's going to be shit.
Back to this. Why?
Well, they did say from the get-go that they were doing 2 seasons of Andor. So we knew
it's going into production this week.
Yeah, we knew we were getting this no matter what. So it's, but this is the last season, so there's that.
But look, you got more Star Warsy ships in there. Look, it's Star Wars.
Honestly,
Star Wars.
It is easier to fix the problems with this show, though, than it is to fix the problems that we all share and agree on when it comes to other properties. So the problems Andor has: lack of character, poor pacing, very little reason to get invested in the people it portrays, very little pew-pew, not very convincing action. All of that stuff is much easier to fix from the base they've created now.
I agree with that.
Like if Andor Season 2 comes out and is the same tonally and in pacing and in characterization as Andor Season 1, I'll be right with you guys in criticizing it for that, because those are problems, but they are also easier to criticize than the cultural problems that we've been complaining about with everything else we've been talking about.
But the thing I said originally when we first reviewed this is that Andor needs to be a kick-ass hero. You need to go, wow, I want to watch him again, stuff. But they're never going to do that because they don't believe in masculinity. They don't believe that a male should be that hard and ruthless and stuff. So you're never going to get that. So season 2 is going to be, there's going to be action. Maybe they'll speed it up a bit, but it's still going to be the same shit.
Maybe
a woman who'll come along and make him better. Don't worry.
I think it would be better. Like, so I said my second channel video because I'm quite very critical actually
really
of
plugging
Andor.
That second channel.
Well, I have to because it's getting off the ground. But I have all the same criticisms of Andor as a character as everyone else here does. I mean, he is so bland and pointless. And the point I made there was that in Rogue One, he is a fallen character. He is deeply cynical. He is deeply into the machine. He does whatever he's told to do to the point of committing what we would all consider to be ethical violations. Andor, as a prequel show, should be much more interested in exploring how the fall happens. He has to be good before you can make the fall aspect of his character realized. And Season 1 didn't take any interest in that whatever. He was already fallen. He doesn't really grow or change or develop between Season 1 of Andor and Rogue One. He needs that development. So I agree with that criticism. Season 2, you could fix it by giving him something to believe in, making him more of that action hero type, making him do good things because he believes in them, and then you end it with some moment of him
compute.
being struck down again, which explains why he is so cynical in Rogue One. I don't think we will get that. I agree with that criticism as well. I think that would be a shame, but it's one of those things that is quite easy to see how to fix and how to accomplish that fix.
He has to achieve something, but he has to do it. He has to be really cool in doing it, and then you'll warm to him. But they won't do that.
Movie Cynic, would you care to read a comment, please?
Sure. Dark Side of the Walk says this show should be the sponsor of, is it Nightall?
Yeah, Nightall.
Yeah, it's basically to make you feel asleep.
We have NyQuil.
Yeah, NyQuil.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Obviously, you're talking about how they could improve it. Felicity Jones cameo?
Felicity Jones, no.
I have a huge crush on her, so sure, bring her on. Bring her back.
Seriously, we need him to kick ass.
Thing.
We need him to do some really cool stuff like Han Solo. We need him to do stuff like that.
I honestly, go ahead.
Honestly, just give him a character. Give him a character. He doesn't have a character, and so there are ways you can make a relatively vacant protagonist useful. And some of the world building stuff that Andor does is only really possible because he is such a vacant character. He's the person who is just put into an event in order that the writers can do what they want to do, which is explore the event. Many writers have used a very vacant protagonist in that way, but you don't need to have this either or thing. You could accomplish both. He didn't really have much of a character in Rogue One. He has no character in this show. Give him any kind of character and it will be an improvement. But ideally, actually make him someone we can look up to rather than someone who is just our sort of surrogate in experiencing cynicism and cretinism and all the rest of that.
But all this leads to Ray Palpatine. You know, that's
Jake.
That's the problem with all of this.
Yeah, Setlick 3 Gaming Andor. And then Dark Side says bland. I think he likes it. And Platoon right.
Oh God, there's finally someone sensible in the chat.
Yeah. Tim, isn't it? Okay, so
sorry, rest of the chat.
So Platoon's happy. Production season 2 is underway.
I will be if it does it right, but I think this is the last chance they have.
Okay, just quickly going back to Guardians, James Gunn basically saying he's happy that people are appreciating.
Well, of course he is.
And liking Mantis. Mantis, she was quite.
This, actually.
Yeah.
She was my favorite part.
Yeah. Well, cause James Gunn, well done, mate. You've done good.
Yeah, he did a good job.
What are we hoping and/or expecting James Gunn to do with Disney? Out of interest, with DC even with DC.
Very good.
Oh, yes. DC. I hope he turns it around. I mean,
Cavill. Good. Superman.
I personally like everything James Gunn has done so far. So, I mean, I hope that he turns it around. And
Peacemaker was fantastic.
I love
make it less nihilistic and depressing. That would be a good start.
Right on. I hope he turns it around and makes everybody love DC as much as I personally love DC. But we'll see.
I watched Suicide Squad, the second one, purely on the strength of watching the first 7 episodes on Z3PO's recommendation.
Did you like it?
I needed to watch Suicide Squad before I watched the last episode of Peacemaker.
And?
Fantastic. I loved both of them. I thought Suicide Squad, the second one, was
I said Suicide
silly,
Squad,
but I liked it.
I'm sorry.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say, problem?
I said early on when we were talking about Marvel, I mentioned Suicide Squad. I just get those two because I tuned so far out of Marvel, and even DC hasn't really been keeping up at all. So everything just becomes a bit of a merger in my mind these days. Because I mean, Suicide Squad, I never read books at all, so. I think it was probably more Marvel than DC, quite honestly, because it was much more fun.
not seen the first
how it used to
Suicide
be,
Squad,
Jamal.
but
Don't.
the second
Don't
one
do it.
The second one I
really,
loved. I didn't like the first
really,
one at all.
really enjoyed the second
Yeah,
one.
I
thought
liked
it was
it.
Yeah,
fantastic.
it was great fun.
Good film.
Great.
And like
Am I the only one that didn't like both of them? I
yes.
didn't like both of them at all.
Quite you.
I don't remember
How
the
dare
first
you.
one, and I don't think I've seen the second one. But as long as Gunn doesn't get Zack Snyder back, I will be optimistic as I can be about DC.
The first wise choice would be not to call him.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well,
I
there's
did not like
Henry,
the Snyder Cut either.
Henry Cavill was Henry Cavill was saying that he wanted Superman to be hopeful and Cavill, wants him to be hopeful and bright and all American and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
agree, it should be.
Yeah.
He's a
That's the
purist,
character.
isn't he? He's a
Yeah.
purist.
Yeah.
Even
one of us.
Chris Hemsworth said that about
yeah, he's
Thor
been-
as well,
he's
didn't he?
been-
Recently,
yeah.
he said he would
Oh,
only
God,
come back to
yeah.
the role if it's a markedly different type of character and tone than the last one.
He
I
didn't
think
like it, did he?
Yeah, that's
that's the
joking
other
around.
aspect of the hope that we might hold. Probably would be unwise to hold the hope, but nevertheless, if there is cause for hope, it's that some of the actors involved are also coming out and saying, I will return to this role because I like the character, but I will not do it if you're going to continue giving me the character depiction we've had. So whether that's
Right.
Henry Cavill or Chris Hemsworth, both of them seem to have recognized where they've gone wrong in terms of depiction. And that maybe they'll have some sway, who knows?
Unforgivable what they did to Thor. I've not watched the last one because
Yeah, don't.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I loved
same
the
here.
first Thor film. Fantastic.
Thor is one powerful character in the history of the
He's a
Marvel
god.
universe, and
He's a
just to have
god.
him fat and fighting Thanos,
Yeah.
and not even getting a blow in, it was just
Oh, what?
annoying. It
And
really
the
was.
dad jokes. Enough with the dad jokes. It's really tedious, and it's
And
embarrassing. It
I
shows
like
the level
dad
of
jokes.
And
maturity.
what's
I'll
his
be
name?
quiet.
Titty, whatever. Get fucked. Anyway,
Why
let's move on.
Titty, whoever his name
Yeah.
is, yeah, him.
Well, hell, let him direct, but make somebody else write it. So
doing a-
Ragnarok, he
he's doing a
directed
Star Wars
Ragnarok.
movie, isn't he?
Oh, I hope. Well, there's all talk of that, but the last interview
You'll
I saw
like
with
that,
him
man,
said that
won't you?
he didn't know whether it was happening or what he was doing with it because he was too busy elsewhere, and I hope that
Right.
remains the case. But he directed Ragnarok, and I get some of the problems people have with Ragnarok. I thought Ragnarok was all right, and some of
Yeah,
it
but-
was actually funny, but he didn't write that
He
film.
didn't write it exactly. That's what I
So
was gonna say.
he's a very good director, and he's good at injecting comedy when other people have written the story for him. And hopefully that will be the dynamic going forward.
Ragnarok, there was just a hint too much of the comedy for me, but they needed just to take it down just a notch, and I think it had been nice. But maybe not.
I can't get over that dreadful actress who's in it. That one is miserable in everything.
Oh, well, that's his missus.
Tessa
isn't it?
Thompson.
That's
yeah,
his missus.
Tessa Thompson, yeah. God, she's
Yeah.
miserable.
That's
Face
his
like
mistress,
a slapped
man.
ass. No, they got married.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I think they got married.
Well, the
Tessa
joke in my
Thompson.
That's a
video
stream killer.
Tessa Thompson got married to Titty.
Yeah, he likes faces like slapped asses. Yeah.
Oh no, she's very
Well, he's not-
pretty. What are you talking about? She's very pretty.
Okay.
Okay.
She is. She's pretty.
You like
But
that
I
sort
just
of
don't
thing.
understand
Moving on.
how she got married to him. He
Ian
married
likes
her.
to be bossed around.
Yeah.
Maybe he can pay for her acting lessons.
I think usually when you start romantically being involved with somebody, you get to a stage where you kind of decide now.
I thought he
do I
was in
have sex?
a polyamorous thing, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, just to
Does
correct
well.
correct the record because
Am I
it's
wrong,
Hollywood.
by the way?
Because it's Hollywood, nothing is simple. So he's married to Rita Ora, but it
I've
was
got the
he, Rita Ora, and Tessa Thompson who was snapped doing things that might hint at certain polyamorous inclinations. So he's not. I don't think he's married to Tessa Thompson. That's not to say that they're not boning.
Oh,
Well, and maybe he's become a Mormon. We just don't know at this point.
I don't like him anyway as a director and as a person.
Titty
He's an
thinks he's
idiot.
great.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think he's an idiot.
moving on. We kind of briefly mentioned this last week. This came out as well. Granddaughter of Indiana Jones 5, Cinematic Antichrist.
Goddaughter.
What is it? 6 endings were all the same, where she grabs his hat and becomes the next Indiana Jones. That's what I heard. The rumors, isn't it? Is that the right with the rumors?
Something like that, yeah. the self-insert for KK.
Interesting.
It is a
there we
proper
go.
stream
Another one
killer,
bites
isn't
the
it?
dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
But Harrison Ford, though, should know better, shouldn't he? Let's face it.
He doesn't care. He's there for the
doesn't
lula
care.
at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't care as well. Yeah.
He's
He
just there
wants
for
a new
KK.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's crashing them. It's very
How old is he
expensive
now?
when he keep crashing.
80
80
million.
something, I think.
How's he going to beat up people? I just.
Oh,
A
he'll get
combination
her
of
to do it because she's strong and powerful now. So.
combination of
She's a
stunt
woman.
double and de-aging.
Yeah, de-aging, I think, stunt double. But also, I think probably there will be this passing the buck motif that comes in. Like, he will try and take a step back, and this film will be about how he's handing on the mantle to the next generation. That's the thing that you would expect them to do. And so we get more Phoebe Waller-Bridge than we would probably like.
Speaking of handling mantles, the sex bots are in. Okay, we'll move on because are we going to go see this out of curiosity?
Yeah, I have to review the damn thing.
Well, no, you will.
I don't want to see it. I'm not going to go and see it.
No
waste of my
interest at
time.
all.
Yeah, waste of my time.
And I don't have to review anything, so...
On that, we'll move on. Anybody see this?
I saw the same tweet. Yes.
How the hell?
It's like the guy who there was a
like
guy
a drain or something
back
under
in
the
the
leaves.
back in the 90s or something who got arrested for shagging pavements, and then it turned out he was actually sexually attracted to paving stones. There's an actual thing for that.
Wow.
That's pave sexuality, I think that's called.
Are you being cementist?
Oh, cement.
He did a funny.
You anti-cement.
Anti-Semitic.
Here you go. Time Prophet. Did he ask permission for the leaves? Oh.
Leaves. Seriously.
No, but he's branching out.
He's here all night.
Andy Mouse, depaved behaviour.
Autumn's a godsend to him, isn't it?
Dad jokes.
Movie Cynic, do they do such things in... Is that how they roll in the States?
You're asking a man in a country which has Florida in it, whether people do strange things.
Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you a quick
asked.
story if you'd like to have something strange on your stream. So we just moved to Nashville a few months ago, and we've already moved to the other part of town since. I moved into the bad part of town that we didn't know was the bad part. And apparently we asked the cop, and he told us about someone that hadn't been caught yet, who was running around knocking on people's windows until they, if they were home or not, whatever. They'll open the curtain, and he's just standing there naked, and then would run off. And
I live in Somerset. So we have the Somerset GIMP. You heard that?
Is it called a Somerset Flasher?
The guy who's in a GIMP suit who comes out of nowhere.
Oh wait, I saw a picture of that actually.
Yeah, he's been arrested apparently.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Apparently,
Well, I live in
GIMP
London.
wasn't happy.
All we got is people with guns. That's what we got. So there you go.
Honestly,
Probby.
just Google Florida Man for an indication of American insanity. Florida Man is its own meme. I just did it. And just the selection of top stories. Florida man scantily... Oh, no, that's not the one. Florida man accused of killing couple, biting victim's face, go to trial. Florida man dives into ocean to save ring during fumbled proposal. Florida man confesses to 1983 cold case. Florida man accused of attempted murder after woman found with hatchet protruding from head. Florida man... Yeah, that's another one. Same thing. Like, Florida man... Like, these are the people who wrestle alligators while having sex on cocaine. Like, it's an amazing place.
Florida.
I want to live there. It sounds incredible.
Well, the way you're going, son, you'll be there before not too long.
Well, also no income
Isn't that where they
tax,
had
which
all
is
the-
another bigger.
Yes, Texas.
Isn't that where they had the zombie
of Florida.
apocalypse at one point? When you had all those people who were taking this weird drug, and then it just made them want to attack people and eat them. It was some
Sounds like
weird
Florida.
stuff going on. Yeah.
May I do a super chat? Please.
Well, he paid you, so you probably should.
I think I should, yes. Probby, would you do us the honour of reading this super chat, please?
Oh, am I allowed? Wow.
You're
Thumbs
always
up,
allowed.
gentlemen. I am enjoying the show.
From who? Sorry. From who? Sorry. Setlick 3
Oh,
Gaming,
sorry, from Setlick 3 Gaming. My bad. Sorry about that, Setlick 3 Gaming. This is probably why I don't get a name mention at the end here. Thumbs up, gentlemen. I enjoyed the show. Shout out to Geek Watt and the
Matt.
Little Platoon.
Hello.
And,
Hello there.
Live long and prosper.
Yes. Okay, so shall we move on from the leaves?
Let's leave.
Probably sensible.
Yeah.
Lego's got a new set out. Anybody see that?
I saw this, yes.
You need some neo-Nazis in the background.
Easy with the Neos.
It's the only set you don't have to actually build, so that's something.
You can destroy.
Expensive, though.
Wouldn't want to step on it, mind you.
Yeah, I think it's about like $40 billion a month, I think is the cost.
Yeah. It's an expensive Lego set, $42 billion. Worth it, though, do you think?
Still.
On 2 hours. That's
I can watch, like, play Call of Duty and see better acting, so no.
I didn't know you played computer games, Lord.
I do. I'm supposed to be. I don't have enough time at the moment, but yes, I do
Tetris.
occasionally have to try and play computer games for
Do you think
part of my living.
SteamYard is actually powered by Steam? But apart from that.
Okay. I do like the parody Lego sets, what they've done previously. The guys who do this are fantastic. Cutting humour there, though, yes.
Great.
Very
Very
good.
much so.
Anybody see this?
He died.
Is this the Power Ranger guy or someone else?
The Power Ranger guy.
Jason.
Power Rangers. Bit after my time. I was too busy getting out of my head in London clubs.
It's a long way before my time. I don't think I ever watched the Power Rangers.
We always we came back from raving and we were watching Power Rangers on a morning, but we were too high to know what was going on.
It always
really
looks
odd,
so
isn't
cheap
it?
and tacky.
Yes, it's really odd, isn't it, that they created this show out of clips from was it a Japanese or Japanese show?
Yeah,
Weird.
Yeah.
It worked though.
it was was it a toy range?
Oh,
I think so.
It was a toy
sure.
range first.
Yeah, I
and
think
that-
everything range.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Jason
Well, then some
Jason
of
David Frank,
Transformers.
isn't it? Big C again, 49.
Oh wow.
This one
Crazy.
did make me sad because I
That's
was such
nothing.
a massive Power Rangers fan when I was a kid, and Green Ranger was everyone's favorite. Like, he was just the coolest.
What about the pink one? She was cute.
Oh, we all had crushes on the pink one and thought Tommy the Green Ranger was the coolest thing. And he became so popular. He even became like he turned into the White Ranger. And
Of course.
Then he was the
There
he
you
was
go.
the most popular one.
Dark
there you
Side,
go.
Yeah. And then Time Prophet says he recently split from his wife. 49.
Poor
That's
guy.
nothing.
Obviously had problems there, you know.
Well, you might think splitting from the wife would increase your life expectancy.
Happiness. Yeah.
Welcome to relationship advice.
From the Lost Platoon. Lord
Be
Cord
single,
himself.
you will live longer.
Be single and prosper.
I always thought it was really weird when I was a kid watching it, and then the picture was quite clear, and then suddenly when you got to the villains,
It was a toy.
it was
kinda
it was
miniatures.
very picture was very grainy and weird. I was like, oh, this is weird. So obviously, when you grow up, you realise that it was just nicking clips from Japanese TV show and stuff just to connect it to this. It's quite funny. There you go.
Okay, so we'll move on. Let's see what's next.
You have another super chat.
We do.
Oh,
do
it's a
that in a
shame
moment.
she's gone, isn't it?
Irene
yeah.
Cara a couple of days ago died in, I think, was it Florida? A death,
Florida.
cause of death unknown. But I think this woman won an Oscar as well. 63, again, that's nothing. Obviously,
Fame, he wants to live forever.
Flash, yeah, well, she didn't.
Well, that's true.
That's not. You're not wrong.
I have to say, she, Fame for me. That was when I was a little kid, and when Fame used to come on, I used to get so excited because
Was it after Top of the Pops? Was after Top of the Pops, wasn't it? Yeah, Top of the Pops used to play, and then Fame used to come on.
Fame was massive in the 80s.
It was
massive,
huge.
It was a phenomenon.
No, it was
Leroy and his.
Oh God, what happened to him?
To wear a leotard. Yeah.
What happened to
Janet
him?
Jackson was in Fame as well.
She was, yeah, she was. She was.
Who was the one who did High Fidelity? I liked her.
The little girl with the curly hair. The black
High Fidelity. High Fidelity. Yeah. That one.
That went to number 1, didn't it?
It did.
Bloody hell. And it's a terrible song as well.
Indeed. Okay, so rest in peace, Irene Cara.
Indeed.
Very pretty girl.
Oh
God.
Okay.
How can you tell the difference? I mean,
I was about to say it's the same person.
Last week, slowly becoming our channel favourite, the millionaire Greta Thunberg,
child saint extraordinaire.
Yeah, the the mouthpiece for globalism and the you will be poor and whatever.
How dare you? Sorry, go.
Somebody dropped this today on the Twattersphere.
That's so funny.
It's funny that I instantly knew who that was.
Yeah, same here.
There's no doubt about it.
Charlie's incredible.
I think somebody created this on DALL-E, which is a AI.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's so good. It's so much fun.
It's a journalist who, I don't remember which journalist, he's one of the people I quite like, branded her as the Swedish Doom Goblin many, many years ago. And now she actually is.
She is, yes. Oh, fabulous. Oh, that's great.
Fabulous.
God. I mean, the only way to deal with these people is to mock them mercilessly, and this is wonderful.
You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Here you go. Actually, Andrew's here again.
Care.
Hello, Andrew. The best she's ever looked, to be honest.
She looks the same, really.
Well,
how dare you?
If people say we're hating on her, well, I'm sorry, but if she puts herself in the public domain,
and she's a millionaire and an adult.
Millionaire,
yeah.
Which I didn't know. Millionaire.
She wants me to pay more taxes to live in a colder house.
Right.
So no, get fucked, darling. Thank you very much.
You raving communist.
The third cuss you've done today, Lord.
I know. What can I say? I've let myself go.
Yeah,
he's hanging around with the wrong people. That's why.
Yeah, he enjoys himself on here. He doesn't do it on his channel.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Absolutely not.
If Jackson ever does more Lord of the Rings,
she's available.
Well, she'll be the hero in Rings of Power Season 2.
Right.
You heard it first, folks. Season 2, the hero, Rangs.
It's Gollum's sister, who nobody knew existed, but apparently does.
My precious.
I love it when...
highly recommend it. I highly recommend. There's a comedian called Will Franken. He did a wonderful 15-minute stand-up routine about this freak.
Yeah, I saw that. Brilliant.
I can't recommend it
today.
enough.
Yeah, saw it. Yeah.
It's hilarious. He does a whole bit about her, Greta Thunberg.
I genuinely love it when the lurkers become known for the first time. Lord, would you care to read a chat, please?
I can do so, yes. Captain Barbarossa says, the fetal alcohol syndrome is not a good look. I agree.
I think the chat are liking that comment. So,
honestly, within 2 years, she will come out as non-binary, and then she is an environmentalist left-winger who is also in the alphabet. And so you can't hate her without being a fascist who wants the world to burn,
adjacent,
who is also homophobic. I'm sure that's what. As she gets more desperate for attention, she will do that.
Doesn't she have autism? So we're already.
Yeah, she's got Asperger's.
Horrible, right?
Yeah, but everyone on Twitter has, because everyone says so in their biogs.
Right.
It's self-diagnosed, but you know, it's real.
To use the common popular phrase, it's neurodivergent. Asperger's is a relatively high functioning form of autism that manifests as chiefly sort of social unawareness. So like people with Asperger's will either love or hate people without conventional reason to do so, but it's basically it's under the umbrella of autism, but it's usually quite high functioning, which is how she can read lines so effectively that have been written by somebody else.
Do you want some good news? Time Prophet's got beef burgers.
I prefer those.
Share them with the rest of the class.
Now you've admitted it, that thing on screen right now is going to be at your window this evening in the middle of the night, scratching on your door.
It looks like something on the wing of a plane, man.
Anybody remember the original Salem's lot with the child tapping on the window?
Yes, it's that. That's what's going to happen to you, Time Prophet, so look forward to it.
Okay, to bring us back down to earth, who would like to read a super chat? Catty?
Yeah. I think this is important.
Who's it from?
Oh, sorry. Melvin Deeply. Love Melvin. I think this is important. Boobs. I agree.
Oh, you calculate.
Some would say this panel is comprised mainly of tits, so correct. Okay, so we'll move on from
blue tits, because we'll be freezing cold thanks to Greta.
Oh, here you go. There you go. Shall we see what's last?
Yes.
I'm dripping with anticipation.
Anybody see this today?
Oh,
I did not. What is this?
If you Google, say the cast, or is it cast of Terminator, or cast of True Lies, or even if you type Google Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's disappeared. He's gone.
Oh, really?
From the Terminator and Terminator 2.
No, he's been erased from Google.
Why?
What?
Nobody knows. I think Z said he's back now, though.
He is.
Oh, it's
ironically he's back.
They did something similar with Doctor Who.
Is this a meta joke? Is this a meta joke?
No, wait. This is clearly some sort of marketing. Wait. Because they did the same thing with Doctor Who for the fugitive Doctor thing, which was complete nonsense. But they changed all the Doctors' faces around with the different actors and said that this is the first Doctor. It was the wrong Doctor and all that. So Google were in on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was some sort of marketing campaign for something or other.
It's either that or in 3 weeks they announce he's dead.
That would be weird.
Here you go. Z says, was removed from every movie he was in by Google earlier. If you Googled Arnold Schwarzenegger, Patrick Schwarzenegger came up.
I literally typed that in, and that was the first thing that popped up. It wasn't even Arnold Schwarzenegger; it was his son Patrick. Yeah, which is so weird.
Terminator reboot coming up, starring Patrick Schwarzenegger as the Terminator.
I'll be back. So he will be back.
He's no matter what he's done, no matter what Arnie has done, whatever, he's achieved so much in his life. He can die happy, can't he? That man.
For sure.
I'm telling you, this is a marketing thing. Everyone's talking about it, so it will be related to something he's going to be doing, guaranteed. Unless, of course,
I can't believe Edward Furlong looks like that now.
Right,
my lord. Yeah,
he looked great in Derp Fate for the 5 minutes he was in.
Yeah.
I think we should review Derp Fate at some point.
No, definitely not.
I still haven't watched it, and I'm still not going to watch
First
it.
5 minutes were, yes, come on, and then what?
Right.
And he still hasn't apologized, that director, has he?
Yeah, even Linda Hamilton came out and said, I didn't think it was in my character to just give up so quickly in that opening scene. You know, Terminator comes out of the ocean, shoots John Connor, who we've just, probably the best of all the Terminator films is Terminator 2. And the entire thing with Terminator 2 is mother-son relationship and the mother having to step up to save son, but also the son finding himself. And then you get Dark Fate, which is just a pre-credit scene, which lasts no more than 5 minutes, of a random Terminator comes out of the ocean, shoots de-aged John Connor, and she just sits there and cries.
Right.
And, like, my God, talk about a fuck you to fans, but that has to be one of the bigger ones. But Linda Hamilton came out afterwards and said, I didn't think at the time that that's what my character would have done. I think she would have put up more of a fight than that. And you're right. Well done. Another actor who knows more about the character than the writers do.
It totally undoes her character arc, and it undermines her strong female representation. You know, I mean, it's so tone deaf. I mean, it's remarkable to me.
And why? Well, because we have to tell a story for modern times. So John Connor, as a young white male character, cannot any longer be the savior of humanity. Kill him very quickly. And then now the new John Connor is going to be a young Latino woman. And she can take on the role and the mantle of John Connor. And it's one of the most sort of transparent attempts to capture the cultural zeitgeist. That's just, it's so transparent that it just becomes ironic almost.
It's not even a zeitgeist. It's such a contrived. The whole thing is quite clearly socially engineered, and it's not as it's so forced. It's so corporate, and it's so ideologically driven by powers that be. And it's, as you say, it's so transparent. It's insulting everybody's intelligence, even the most stupid, ardent supporters of it.
We were all called white misogynist before, weren't we?
Oh, well, what's new?
I just hope there's people beyond Hollywood that would finance films that doesn't have the woke rubbish in it. I just hope that's the only hope we've got left, because these people have actually literally got hold of Hollywood as we know it. So I was watching
through all the institutions.
Yeah, I was watching a live stream where this woman was talking about she knows a lot of actors that went to auditions, and before they can act the scene from the sides, they ask her about her standing when it comes to trans and LGBTQ, whatever. Yeah. And depending on how she answers, they will let her go on with her audition. And so one of the actors,
same as that girl who.
Yeah, she lied. She actually lied.
It's the same girl. It's the same thing with that girl who went for an interview with G4. You know, went on to someone's stream and said, you know, G4 lost money. And then she said that the questions were, so if you could kill off one of the sort of main DC characters, which one would it be? And hoping that she'd say, or Batman or Spider-Man or, you know, from Marvel or something like that. And she was just shocked that
Marvel.
All the questions were angled at what is your political leaning, really.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I'd like to go back to the days when nobody knew who anyone voted for.
I tried to join a Facebook Doctor Who page, and the first question was, how many genders are there? And I wrote 2, and I didn't get in. So there you go.
Fighting talk is that. Fighting talk. Theodore Kingston Biskley, thanks, Frosk.
Yes.
And the thing is, though, they know that they failed. She knows that she failed, but what does she do? She comes out on Twitter trying to pretend it wasn't her fault, or it
she's not here to be easy on the eyes for you, Ian.
Well, she succeeded, but
she did succeed.
Didn't even have the balls to put her hand up.
But it is one of those things that will come out. I think more and more people will be entering these sort of luxury positions, acting, screenwriters guild, whatever. They will be asked all of these questions, and they will lie about it just to get in. And then the fact that they're lying about it, they don't really believe any of this stuff, but they have to say it. The fact that they're not true believers, though, will eventually manifest itself in what they do, what they say. And so, really, the thing collapses under the weight of its own contradictions. It's like Stephen King on Twitter, was it yesterday?
Oh, what a knob.
Did one of those classic please clap tweets when he said, if a woman was in charge of Russia during the Ukraine war, the war would be over now because there wouldn't be any testosterone involved. It's like, okay, Catherine the Great literally invaded and annexed Crimea, broke up Poland and Lithuania, all of this stuff. But the fact is that you can tell from that he doesn't really believe what he's saying. He's doing it because his fashionable friends will clap him when he says that. And that makes it much more apparent to the audience that this thing is just a facade of lies. And it will collapse as a result of that. People will no longer take these people seriously.
Self-congratulatory
It's a bunch of paid liars.
Status, yeah.
A paid bunch of, overpaid bunch of liars who pay other people to lie. And it's so transparent, and people like this.
Yeah, Simon Pegg's another good example.
It's sad. It's sad to see, because you think, well, you've produced such great content in the past, but now here you are, effectively throwing yourself under the bus in order to make some pointless point.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that Frost makes Greta Thunberg look tasty.
Here you go. Here you go. Jim D, Top Gun Maverick, showed everyone in Hollywood just how far down the rabbit hole they've fallen.
I think genuinely that will be what destroys the current moment and the hold that the woke lot have over Hollywood. It's that one side is so insincere and evidently insincere that any audience member watching that and listening to what they say will be able to tell, you don't believe what you're saying. This is just fashion. While you've also got, on the other hand, something like Top Gun Maverick, relatively uncomplicated. It's just there to be a fun, enjoyable film, and it succeeds as a result of that. So you combine those two things: evident sort of disingenuity on one side and sincere movie making on the other side. It won't be a great ideological shift that does away with wokeism in media. It will just be, it destroys itself for the demands that it makes, and the people who succeed will be the people who have no pretensions about them. And most of the audience can tell when you're being honest and when you're not, and honesty will be the thing that wins out in the end.
Hollywood is always has been and always will be the place where all trends go to die. It's always the last to catch on. And that's going to be even more so as, we live in an information age where everything changes so quickly. Hollywood hasn't got it's like the Russian army during the First World War. It takes so long to mobilize. It will die of its own weight because it will break its own neck at the speed it's trying to catch up. And it just won't manage. So do or die, really.
Good luck, Hollywood.
No, it needs it.
Shall we call it a draw there, folks?
Good luck, Cricklewood.
Mind you, if we can find some way of going on for 9 minutes, then you'll have a nice, neat 2 hours 30 stream.
Lord, do you know anything about Star Wars?
More than you lot of.
Have you seen Empire Strikes Back?
Yes, my favourite of all the Star Warses.
Did you know there was two laser sword fights? Did you know that?
There's not. No, there's one actual lightsaber fight, and there's a hallucination, which does not count.
I think he's having a go at me.
Does a laser sword fight with a stalactite count?
No.
No.
Because Luke also gets his lightsaber out to cut through the bottom of the AT-AT, and you don't call that a lightsaber fight. So absolutely not.
That was Han Solo, by the way.
The AT-AT did
that
lose.
Absolutely was not Han Solo. Han Solo cuts the torn
I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say at the beginning, Arnie was missing.
He was, but he's back now, isn't he?
But
he is back. I double checked.
There you go. I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Okay, so 8 minutes.
Which is exactly what they want you to know. They want you to think that.
8 minutes is easy. Watch this. Maka, you said you've seen Wednesday, and I've been meaning to sort of watch that, but I can't decide whether I should. Yeah. Is it any good?
I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not good. I tell you right now, I figured out who the bad guy was episode 1. I figured out everything episode 1. And
Wednesday.
And talk about Mary Sue. I'll tell you what. They're all like at the beginning, she at one point in time, Wednesday says, my father, you taught me how to be independent and all this stuff. And then later on, she's like, I'm destined to be alone. I'm like, well, independent women are destined to be alone because they think they can do it by themselves and everything. So I don't know. There were times when I was like, well, this isn't too bad. But overall, at the end of it, I was like, well, that was predictable. So I don't, my wife liked it. She thought it was okay.
My sister liked it.
But at the end of it, I was just like, I was like, I don't know.
Well, I say watch Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities if you haven't.
I've been watching that.
Okay. I haven't watched that yet.
Okay.
Del Toro,
Watch
great.
that.
I do like him a lot. I do like
Really
him a lot.
good.
Director, yeah. Blade 2, remember?
He
Fantastic.
he starts off like Hitchcock's TV show, the Hitchcock Hour, whatever it was called, can't remember. So at least the director's as big as Hitchcock. I think he's even bigger. I think. Yeah.
Platoon. I'll tell you right now, I'd rather watch Wednesday than Andor again. So so if that means anything, so.
Has there been any? Because I remember watching some of the pre-release coverage of it, and you had some of the clips that were released where there's the one in the swimming pool, for example, where she sort of takes vengeance against the typical white male straight jock character. Has there been any overtly offensive woke feminist stuff in it yet, or has there been any indication there will be?
I will say yes. It's just very much like anything that you can do, Wednesday can do better.
I can do better.
And so it's just very like she's able to figure out everything. And even when she gets it wrong, she has this like, I was wrong, but really I was kind of right. And I was like, not really, but okay,
Matt,
whatever.
Who plays the father? Who plays the father in it?
It is what's his name?
He's ugly.
But I like him a lot. although I'm not
beautiful inside though.
Beautiful inside.
Just like the original drawings, though, so it's quite.
It's
not really
Luis Guzman,
because the other guy that played him in the movie version.
Yeah, I prefer him.
Yeah, I do as well. Guzman. And you got some. Who's the mother?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Okay.
Yeah.
She did a good job, but I prefer the original actress.
Yeah.
Also, the same. Yeah. Fred Armisen plays Uncle Fester, and I prefer Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. Yeah, but I do like Jenna Ortega. I didn't like her. The only thing I seen her in before this was Scream, the new Scream movie.
Yeah.
But she, in my opinion, did a good job in this. I was like, and the kid there, he plays this kid Tyler, but his name is Hunter Duhan, I believe. Don't quote me on that. He was actually my favorite part of the whole entire show. It's just, yeah, it's it's very predictable in my opinion. Like, I guessed who the bad guy was and what the reasoning was, like almost like within 3 episodes. I was like, this is now granted, I'm a small spoiler alert. There's 2 bad guys. And the second one took me a hot minute more to figure out, but it only took me like an extra 2 episodes. But as soon as I figured out, I was like, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Melvin Deeply.
Yeah. If you want to watch, sorry, can I just quickly say, just as
you're going to,
as a suggestion, I have to. Now my
I know you do.
Open.
I know.
If you really want to watch some really good Wednesday Addams stuff, go on YouTube, type in Adult Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, that sounds like you could come up with something very, very dodgy.
Melvin Deeply says
it's not what you think, but it's really good.
It is
really
not.
fun.
I have seen that problem, and I agree with you. That is very good. I agree with you. It's very good. I've seen it before.
Melvin Deeply says, been watching Cabinet of Curiosities. So far, 2 good episodes and 2 shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
A couple of duds, but
Is that did he direct and write all of those episodes, Guillermo?
No, he had different directors. Different directors for each one.
Gotcha.
In the chats, look at Mr. Brown Alliance. We have the best chats, definitely, and the best panel on YT on Sunday.
I agree.
1 minute past.
On Twitter, if people type YT, I got confused by this the other day, but usually they mean white and not YouTube. Oh. So I had someone telling me I hated Black Panther because YTers like me can't stand to watch minority-led films. I thought, YouTubers like me? Oh no, I know. No, white people don't like black people. That's why I hate Nick Fury, for example.
No, right?
Even though I completely fucking
You
don't.
can't say that, Platoon. That's the I have a black friend argument.
Yeah, but I tend to find that people who have black friends aren't generally racist. So I think there is some merit to that as an argument, frankly.
The people who do all the accusing, they're the ones who have got the problem.
They are the
I
most
agree.
racist, bigoted people I've ever come across.
I think that is it, folks.
Yeah. So can you do the sign off and the goodbye in 1 minute and 10 seconds?
I think you can.
I will say,
Not at that pace, you won't.
Last week,
can you fix that dead pixel, please?
No, that's there to appease my perfectionism. Obviously, last week we had amazing numbers coming off the back of Lord's live stream, but steady numbers this week. As I said, I think genuinely we've got the best chat and the best panel on YT on a Sunday, including Probby. I think that is it, chat. So, as I say, chat, you are wonderful. Great to see you all. A few new lurkers, new faces, etc., etc. Always appreciate the interaction. We are nothing without the chats. I will thank the guests. Matt Katz, great to have you on, mate.
I always have a good time with you guys. It was a pleasure.
The boy wonder himself, Lord Cord. Cheers, pal.
Always a pleasure. I'm hoping I'll have a video going out next Sunday, so I'll link to the next Sunday stream as well.
The wonderful Problem Being.
Thanks for allowing me to blather on.
And just as wonderful, he likes movies apparently. He's a cynic. It's Matthew.
Thanks for having me as always.
Cheers,
Brown.
movie.
Yeah, cheers, man.
And bringing up the rear like he does, the mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz. Cheers, Ian.
No worries, guys. No worries.
You could have said coming up the rear and you missed that opportunity.
I didn't want to. I did not want to. Why?
You should have saved that one for us, I think.
But did you enjoy saying that?
Yes.
I didn't say it.
Okay. I think that's it, folks.
You're thinking it.
I don't know what the movie's going to be next week. I don't think there's going to be a movie choice. I'm going to decide. I may do something for
That's
one
when
of
people
the...
abandon you. When we have the movie
the
choice,
decider.
everybody abandons you. It's just me and Matt on there. It's just me, Matt.
Matt
and
never says anything. I'm thinking maybe a Star Trek. I don't know. We'll see. I think that's it, folks. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I think that's it.
Beautiful chorus.
Bye.